tonight's 4-3 extra inning loss, trying to figure out the words here. It felt like a time machine where if you were blindfolded and someone just ripped off the blindfold and you'd watch this game and you didn't really have names to the players or who pitched, right? And you didn't really know what was going on. You just kind of woke up. You would have thought you were watching 3 years ago. That's what this game felt like. It looked like it. It played like it. It aged like it. You could see mistakes happening from a mile away. Let's be completely honest here, Jake. And for those of you who missed this game, you can just go to YouTube. You don't have to watch the 2+ hour event. You can just watch the highlights and say, oh man, that's really some of the decisions, who came to the plate, right? When guys got pulled, who came out of the bullpen, when they came out. And it was just riddled with mistakes. And we're going to talk obviously about Cam Schlittler almost briefly, right? I mean, he's Cam Schlittler at this point. He's upper echelon. It's no longer this up-and-coming prospect that look what it's going to be in the future. Cam Schlittler is in the Tarek Skubal conversation. He's in the Paul Skeens type conversations. And of course, those guys have been up to the big league level for much longer. Shouldn't say much, but they pretty much just got here. But the point is that some of these guys that we see as like almost unattainable levels of talent for the Yankees to acquire, they've found their way to have one of those guys at the beginning of his career in Cam Schlittler. So obviously credit to our staff for doing that. Cam had a great line if you missed it. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 walks. I mean, as is tradition, he's all over the plate. He's really just a guy who throws straight fastballs all day long, sinker, cutter, and 4-seam fastball up in the zone. 6 Ks. ERA is now down to 135. You can't say enough about how good this guy. They bring in Hedrick. He struggles a bit, and I don't think any of us were mad at that. He's been awesome all year, hitting spots. His stuff is really improved, and I believe that he's now one of those guys in our inner circle where maybe down the road in October we can trust him to get out some lefties and also go multi-inning as well. And here, Jake, is the main topic. The issue with tonight's management and bringing in Camilo Doval. Jake, at the beginning of the season, we said this was a wild card. This could work. We talked about last year in the finish that Doval had, and he was serviceable. He absolutely wasn't this reliable setup man. We can all agree about that. However, he goes into the WBC. He's fine, not great. And we mentioned that there can be some building blocks here that at the very least, maybe he shouldn't be the 8th inning guy now, but you can see how this could work out. Camilo Doval, coming into today's game, before he'd ever touched the mound, shouldn't have been trusted to pitch in an 8th inning against the Milwaukee Brewers, who are a really good baseball team. And Aaron Boone decides that, well, we acquire the first out of the 8th inning, no traffic to be found, nothing's going on. I need to get Doval into this baseball game. Got to have it. And really what it did was unleash and unlock the rest of the game, which was just an avalanche for the Yankees that they couldn't stop. By the time Bednar had come into this game, and I'm texting people back and forth saying how this game's going to go, you watch Bednar come into a tie baseball game and they're thinking, oh, we got to get Bednar in because he hadn't pitched since Tuesday. This is a mistake. Pitching guys and being forced to now react instead of being the team that dictates the pace. You just simply cannot make these mistakes. And the fact that they say, well, we expected Bednar to be good. Well, I guess the question is why did you? Because if he doesn't, it puts you in a position to utilize a closer in a game that is just a waste. If David Bednar comes into a baseball game, Jake, it should be to go for a win, not to maintain hope. And overall, I've been very high on Aaron Boone. So have you, Jake. And it's not always the most comfortable thing to say in a room full of people a lot of times that don't like Aaron Boone. We've been very positive about the job he's done this year. Tonight was an F- performance from Aaron Boone. He lost him this baseball game. And ultimately, we're going to judge you by what you do over the macro. But if you're going to shrink down the sample size, Jake, to tonight's game, There's no other way to put it. This was a horrendous performance from their manager in Aaron Boone.
Yeah, it's not what you want, right? I think let's start with Doval. We're looking at a guy with the New York Yankees who has an ERA over 5 for his career. That's over 32 innings pitched at this point. Honestly, since Doval kind of started off his career on a really high note, including being an all-star, which means absolutely nothing, but I figured I'd say it anyway, in 2023. Yep. I know you're trying to hold back the laugh there, but 2024, he had an ERA of 4.88, 2025, 3.58, 2026. Now he is at 5.79. I told you off air, I really wanted this to work. And maybe I'm being way too negative here, but I just don't see this working, Gary. I see you let Johnny Lowe finally go. It felt like he was just hanging on by a thread every single year. Even when he got hurt, it's like, oh yeah, we'll bring him back. He gets hurt again. If he's not getting hurt, he's getting hit. He had great stuff. This, to me, I was wrong about. I'm going to put my hand up in the air. I thought this was a great move when they got him. I was wrong. The catcher that they traded away would probably help this team right now. This ended up being a bad move. I don't think this is going to work out. I really don't. I think we're seeing a guy who's likely to get DFA'd halfway through the year, maybe trade away for a bag of peanuts, but it's not good. Doval is the guy that will have 2 strikeouts in an inning, not give up runs, look really good one time, but then 5 other times he's going to have blow-up outings. He's going to blow games. He's had his third blown hold this year. So that can't happen. And so I'm just at the point where it's like he's got menacing stuff. When he is on, he's as dangerous as anybody, but he's never on, Gary. And guess what? I'm tired of this because at the end of the day, do you know how many guys are in the minor leagues doing exactly what Doval's doing right now? They're literally in the minor leagues because they can't work. They just can't. You don't want to face these guys if you're a AAA hitter or AA hitter, right? I don't think anybody in AA has this stuff, mainly AAA. Yeah, you don't want to face these guys. You don't want to face a guy with a crazy arm delivery, right? I mean, it's so bizarre the way he throws the baseball, but you don't want to go up against the velocity, the movement. You don't. You also don't want to go up against wild pitchers. I know in my experience playing baseball, I hated going up against guys who had no idea where the ball was going. That was not a fun experience. This is not somebody you want to play in AAA. This is exactly somebody you want to play when you're in the majors, and here's why. Because while he can be devastating, more often than not, he's wild. He's not devastating. And when he misses location, he's either walking or he's throwing, easy pitches that you can telegraph way before they hit the strike zone. This is the issue with Doval. And it's an issue with a lot of pitchers and honestly a lot of hitters. He's got incredible talent, raw talent. But the difference between being good at the professional level in any sport and not is not the talent. Everyone's talented in their own right. It's the ability to turn it on and keep it on. And Doval clearly has shown, for whatever reason happened, those first 3 seasons, he looked really good. Since then, he's shown us he does not have that. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality. And tonight, it cost the Yankees. But that said, when Doval came in, I saw a Gary Sheffield Jr. tweet out there saying, I don't like this move. I don't think this is a good move. And we love doing this, right? We love kind of putting our flag in. I love this move to go to Tim Hill in the 7th, right?
It's not a Twitter move because Twitter, usually people like to be hindsight Hanks.
Yes.
And to be fair,
like going ahead. Like be like, hey, you know what? Before anything happens here, I like this move. I don't care about the outcome. This is the move. Or before anything happens, I disagree with this. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. So, I just wanted to give you your flowers there because I saw that.
Thank you.
And that's kind of where my head was at because it felt like the Yankees were about to take control of this game. Doval comes in, and I think, honestly, having Doval come in and do that, I think it not only messes with your psyche as a defender and you're out there, as a fielder, but you're also out there as a hitter. And I just think, momentum's a real thing. It's tangible, whether people want to admit it is or it isn't. But this is one of those things where it's like, it's a backbreaker, man. This is a good Milwaukee Brewers team. We talked about how they're honestly underrated, and the run differential shows that they're starting to get to where they need to be and where they deserve to be.
That's right.
And the Yankees are getting them probably at the worst time possible, so they need to be on their best behavior, essentially. And Doval doesn't put them at their best behavior. I can tell you that much.
Oh, God, no.
That late in the game like that, you just crush whatever momentum that you have.
Yeah, killed it. And I think Slim Lewis really, the temperature in the room, this is pretty much on the money. So Slim Lewis with the 5, thank you, of course, for helping support Yankees Unloaded. And guys, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Get involved in the live chat as well. For those of you obviously dropping supers, you join the show essentially. And if you want an opinion that we really need to get out there or discuss at depth, we do so every single time. We do not miss them. And of course, we do bring chats as well. Some of the bangers off of the live chat. You guys have been awesome. So Slim, again, thank you for the broccoli. Says run it back Yankees still can't beat good teams and still don't play with fundamentals. Doval should not pitch in close games, and Jazz Chisholm sucks. So I want to unpack all this, okay? Now, I've said this before. Jazz is too talented. His swing is too beautiful, right? He just flat out has too much pop in his bat, natural ability, where at the end of the season, no matter how good or bad this goes, his numbers are going to look good enough from the outside to outsiders who don't watch him on a day-to-day basis. He's going to look like a productive baseball player. He's going to hit 238 to 240. He's going to get you 20 plus home runs. He's analytically going to play a really solid second base because he's fast, right? And he's got a strong arm. So all the measurables are there for Jazz. And Jazz just doesn't have it on a day-to-day basis enough for a player that wants to get paid to the level that he wants to get paid. So it rubs people the wrong way. And I've told people, Jazz is really easy to dislike when he's not playing well. And I think even he may know that. But now that we've unpacked that, and of course we'll probably get to it maybe a little later on the show, we get to Slim's real point here, which is that the Yankees don't beat good teams. Here's what I think. While Slim is mentioning that so far this year, and that's technically true, but we also unpacked how in our last show, it's a little skewed when you say that you're not beating good teams, because technically by beating teams or beating a team up, you're making them in the short season that we have so far a bad team, quote unquote, right? They have a worse record because you just beat them. So having said all these things, Jake, this is probably, to Slim's credit, going into previous seasons where the Yankees have really struggled against some of the better teams in the league. And now I'm going to present a hypothesis. Is it possible that it's a combination of both, I don't know, you could say combination of talent and also lack of preparation and using your talent the proper way? Because let me ask you this, Jake. When Slim says we can't beat good teams, it sounds a lot from the surface there. He's talking about the players, like the team is not good enough to beat other good teams. But I look at team as everyone that's in that dugout. And Aaron Boone has every bit to do with why the Yankees lost today. I said he's done a great job all season, right? That is before today and on. But when you go to today, you only watch today's game. This was a bad performance, and Aaron Boone caused this loss. That's the way I look at it. So I think right now, when it comes to close games, it really amplifies. If you make a good decision or a bad one, it's really going to start to show itself over the macro and over an extended period of time. So Jake, I don't really subscribe to the idea that the Yankees players aren't good enough to go win these games against some of the better teams, right? The San Diegos, the LAs, right? The Milwaukees. But here's the deal. Aaron Boone in October can't afford to make the type of mistake that he made today. And it's not the first time he's made the mistake. He goes to Nestor Cortez in game one of the World Series. It was the biggest mistake he's ever made in his entire baseball career. There'll never be a bigger one, at least we hope. Then you go into this game. Did you really need Albert Einstein to tell you? And you didn't have to be Connie Mack. You didn't have to be some Joe Torre to figure out that Doval wasn't the guy for the job. The Yankees have a highly criticized bullpen. Doval's really one of the weak links. I think this bullpen's actually performed well this season, considering what, like, you're talking what Hedrick's done, what Tim Hill's done this year, what Cruz did at the beginning of the season, right? What Bednar's looked like. And people are out here looking at this team and saying, oh, they just can't get outs in the end of the game. This game should have been won. This game should have been won. And we made it felt like a rookie mistake, but it really was just a mistake from the past. So, Jake, I get Slim's frustration. I completely understand, because these mistakes should be gone by this point in Aaron Boone's career as a manager. But unfortunately, these mistakes are becoming common practice that we have to acknowledge when they show up.
No, absolutely. I think when you have Schlittler doing what he did today, I think it was a mistake to essentially not let him do his thing, right? And I think there's been a lot of inconsistencies there, because I think for the most part, Aaron Boone's done a good job,
Yes.
of sticking with guys, sticking with the guy that's kicking ass. And I just
Yes.
didn't feel that way today. You look at Schlittler. Yeah, I know he threw 97 pitches, but just to go, right into the bullpen, and then, you put Doval in there. Now all of a sudden you've used Hedrick, Doval, Bednar, Cruz, Hill. I think it also, when you do that, it also kind of exposes the lack of depth in your bullpen. I mean, isn't that
also
almost their
forces you
entire
to go.
bullpen there?
Yes. So yes and no. You know how you were saying, like, hey, what you really want to do here, and I love this point that you're really making, is that just utilize guys who are playing well. And if something stops working, then you go to the next thing. You don't just go to the next thing because it's technically time to do so, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like today. But
That's why I
having
don't
said
like
that,
the pitch count thing. I think it's bullshit.
of course. But remember what I said at the beginning of the show. David Bednar hadn't pitched since Tuesday. So what does Aaron Boone know in the back of his mind? If Doval gets in trouble and, say, gets one out in the eighth, walks the bases loaded because he has control issues, do you know what his plan was? I'm just going to throw Bednar out there to put out the fire. Cruz went out there because the runs were given up basically so fast that we didn't even get a chance to react. That's why. But that's what Aaron Boone's mentality is that I've got this weapon in my back pocket, but what they don't understand is you're putting yourself behind the eight ball by simply putting someone in the game because they have a role. That's not the best way to manage. Not in today's game, it's not. Oh, I've got a setup man, so that means when it's the eighth inning, he's got to go out there. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And that type of mentality just put us in a game where we were just passing the baton. It looked like for fun. Like that's what happens. And it's when you start looking up and down the game and you say, oh, let me see who pitched. Schlittler, Hedrick, Doval, Bednar, Cruz, Hill. If you'd watch the way that the Yankees pitched today, you really think that many people should have touched the baseball? You're just amplifying the opportunity for something to go wrong. And I felt like today, as much as I'm always rooting for the Yankees to win, we deserve to lose this baseball game. And you'd hope that we'd learn a lesson over the long haul 162 and say, we're just not going to make that mistake again. But we've made these mistakes 2 years ago. We made them last year. And so far this year, as you pointed out, this year has been an outlier. He's really started to extend starting pitchers, right? Warren, Cam Schlittler, what they're doing with Max Fried obviously didn't pitch well the last time out, but they've really worked innings, to Aaron Boone's credit. Today was just a step in the wrong direction. And I hate to go into the lane of negativity considering what it's looked like, but they left us no choice today, Jake.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think Boone has done a really good job managing this team this year. I do. But he's still Aaron Boone. He's not Bobby Cox, who, by the way, rest in peace. Bobby Cox passed away today.
Yeah, that sucked. That was horrible.
Awful. I hate that. But he's not somebody like that. He's not a legendary manager. So you have to understand that he's going to have his off nights. That's when you're just not that good. Like, and he's good. I would say he's a good manager. I think it's fair to say.
I think he's probably a B- is where I'd put him. And that's not a knock. That's just, you can technically, you could argue it can be done with him in the building, but at the same time, obviously, when the margins are slim and you may run into a team that is exactly at your level or maybe slightly above it, it becomes really difficult to overcome. And what you've seen, the Yankees tend not to overcome against better teams. And the baseball playoffs, for those of you who watch the NHL, a lot of upsets happen in both of these sports. And that's the beauty in both of them. They're highly entertaining. Jake, you're into hockey. And
yes,
you see it every year when you start getting into the Western, you're talking about the Western finals, right? You're talking about all that stuff. That's where coaching really starts to give you the advantage. Where are you pointing right now?
So that is my Vegas Golden Knights hat. That's my...
Oh, so you can't even tell. It literally looks like it could be either a Lakers hat. You can't even tell.
Well, the Lakers hat would be that.
Yeah, you can't tell.
That's the Yankees hat. And then that's the Rams helmet. I'm sorry, I'm being an asshole. But no.
I like the Rams helmets. I've always liked the Rams helmets. Right?
Because you're a man of culture.
I'm a man of culture.
And I've always liked the Eagles helmets because I just like, I don't want the logo on the helmet. I want the tertiary look. So
it's clean. Yeah,
it's very clean. But that said, the Vegas Golden Knights, they won 39 games this year. That's it. In an 82-game season. 39 games. They have a chance to go to the Western Finals. And they literally fired their coach, who won them a Stanley Cup, and then went on a run. And now everyone's kind of like, could they do this? Because this is
the
interesting.
Philadelphia
right?
Phillies essentially are trying to do with the Golden Knights.
And I'm rooting for Philadelphia every night. And I think any Yankee fan who loves Don Mattingly should be doing the same. They have a chance to be a wagon. They do. They have a good team. They've had some injuries. I think the whole thing with Zach Wheeler's kind of thrown them off, and no one wants to admit that. But the point being is that, yes, like managing, coaching, it matters. And so does like this idea of momentum. And the Yankees have had a lot of momentum. And then they ran into a team that has more momentum right now in Milwaukee, a team that's really more needing of these wins than the Yankees, because Milwaukee got off to kind of a weird start. And we've talked about it. Milwaukee is, until, the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl this past year, I would say they're the Seattle Seahawks of the league. They will never have a terrible season. Their worst season is they're barely below sea level, and then they come back and they don't go away. We've talked about so many times, this team just does not die. That's very much like the Seattle Seahawks.
It's very annoying when you're in that division, by the way.
Oh,
like if you're in the NFC
had my buddy
West,
who's
you're like, why won't the
fan.
Seahawks pass away? But they will not. They refuse.
Yeah, my buddy Evan, who's a huge Cubs fan, he texted me. He's like, you really couldn't just do us a solid here? Like, really? Yeah, I mean, I didn't play, and I had no chance of impacting the game one way or another. That's
People
a good
actually
thing,
get mad at us when we have good takes and they can't rebuttal it. They're like, why are you guys giving your opinions? You have no impact. I'm like, do you know what a podcast is?
Oh, I know. Well, well, this is what I would say. The two things that lost him this game, crazy enough. One, taking out Bednar after 12 pitches. Not what you want. Number two, I'm just going to say this right now. I actually think that pinch hitting Spencer Jones for Trent Grisham is absolutely insane. And
can we talk about what were the pros to the decision? Can you think of
There were none. He sucks against lefties, and so does Spencer Jones. So all you run the risk of doing is killing his confidence. But I know Spencer Jones is kind of like a ticking time bomb here in a good way, where he's like one hit away from, and that could have been his moment. And instead, now you have to wonder if like a kid who is 24 years old, he's been in the minors for a while, finally gets his opportunity. It's not going maybe the way he wants it to. Although I think his at-bats have shown that he's competitive up there, and his luck is going to change. But that said, I just think this kills his confidence potentially. Like, you're telling me in a big spot, you're like, I'm going to go to like Trent Grisham, who also, by the way, can't hit lefties at all.
I don't even
Ashby
know
was
if I'm
going.
looking at it from a confidence perspective, Jake. If
Ashby
you
was going to
really,
mow down anybody. I
he
just
wasn't
think
going to hit.
it's a little
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Spencer Jones has played baseball in the MLB for 2 games. He has 4 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. Okay. In those at bats, I've seen more competitive nature than Austin Wells, who's been in the league forever.
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
So,
honestly, I don't even remember when he got here. That's how bad it's been.
actually, I found myself today really jealous. One, I don't necessarily think Patrick Bailey is the guy that I would want. I texted you this immediately. I was like, that's the type of move.
With San Fran. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of move I want to make.
Yes.
I'm not saying that Patrick Bailey is the guy I want. He's a fantastic defender, fantastic defensive catcher. I do not like his hitting. Okay.
I saw your tweet. I think you sent me that tweet you found that was like, hey,
Bumgarner has a higher OPS.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
To be fair, Bumgarner did rake, especially in his prime with San
Francisco.
He did. But the point remains is that he's not there in Cleveland now after the trade to hit. Now, the trade that you want is probably someone who, as you said 2 shows ago, maybe even yesterday, you said, I would die to have a right-handed hitting catcher who can hit 240. My God.
Yeah. Do you know who would be perfect in this game? Made me really annoyed.
Who's that?
The guy they tried to get, I think, a few trade deadlines ago. He just so happens to be on the Brewers, William Contreras.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Nothing like a right-handed catcher that's hitting 291.
Yeah, and if he was hitting 251, I think Yankees fans would be freaking out. Could you imagine if we had a catcher hitting 255 who could, by the way, it's not about, the catcher that hits 250 is like our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But what it means is that we had a high batting average catcher before, right-handed, right, in Trevino. But he also had the noodle that floats around in your pool, that pool noodle, that was his right arm. He could not throw the ball to second base, and we saw that in that Boston series. Never recovered since that point. We knew it, right? We had a good offensive player, but we didn't have the other part of the game that is clearly just as important. And so, kind of your point, if the Yankees could find a guy who could field a lick and hit for contact right-handed as a catcher, and we can just ditch the whole 20 home run pursuit at the position, this team would get a lot better. Because as good as this team has played so far in the macro this year, we've gotten nothing from the catcher's room. And I understand there's more to catching than just simply blocking the ball, throwing it down to second base, right? And pitch framing. It's also calling the game and taking responsibility for the pitches that your arms throw, right? Managing the game. And there's an art to that. I feel like Wells has done a pretty nice job. Same with JC. But Jake, we're getting a net 0 from our catchers offensively. And it's not catching up to us now because we have a really good record. We're still up top of the division, but it's going to matter eventually when you're taking 3 or 4 at-bats in postseason games and we're just giving them away at the catcher's position. So definitely really disappointing. Slim Lewis is back with the 5. And we're going to get to a quick conversation here, Jake, with Jazz Chisholm. So Slim, again, thank you for the 5. Guys, you guys have been awesome tonight with the supers. Didn't expect it. Thought it would be a graveyard. We definitely apologize for the late show. We're getting back to earlier this week. Slim says Jazz, he won't leave Jazz alone. This is understandable. He didn't play well today. Also had the error, which couldn't happen after a 10-pitch at-bat. Jazz is a horrible baseball player. I don't care what anyone says. He's the exact opposite of what a championship team wants. Abysmal ABs with runners in scoring position. So I'm assuming that if Jazz saw this, he'd be like, what the hell are these guys talking about? They're just losing their mind. I'm crazy talented. They'll be excited next week. I don't think I've ever seen Slim excited about Jazz Chisholm every day of my life, no matter what he did, which at the very least I can respect because we don't want this up and down roller coaster. If you have your opinions on these players, have them.
Yeah.
Just because you see a guy hit 3 home runs, you don't have to be like, oh, he did what today? I'm wrong. No. Slim's identifying what he thinks about the player after seeing him for an extended period of time. I respect it. Now, having said that, Jake, Jazz Chisholm is not a team baseball player. And here's what I mean by that before I pass it back to you. I believe Jazz, he dropped down a bunt today, right? You saw the bunt. It really worked out. It put us in a rally. He has the physical tools to do everything a championship team needs. Honestly, at any moment, if you really need something done, Jazz has all those tools to get it done. He's not the person to do it. That's the problem right now. And from a consistency point of view, championship players really, couldn't you just replace the word championship with consistent? It's not what a consistent team wants.
Yeah, no,
Jazz Chisholm is the epitome of just a lack of consistency. So, Jake, what's your perspective on Jazz right now? He's not playing well. Obviously, had the error today. Is like, what are your feelings now on this player? Because I know you don't think he sucks. We don't. Neither of us think that. But what is your overall opinion on this player as we sit here in early May?
Why don't I'm going to throw an exercise out here for you. All right.
Yeah, I would love that.
I'm going to go through the lineup for today, and I'm going to tell you exactly the first thing that comes to mind for each player. Tell you where I stand on them.
Yes, perfect.
Paul Goldschmidt, underrated contributor, better than his numbers, and honestly, him playing on and off hurts what he is. I think he's a better player than given credit for, and could go and hit 280 for a team if he was asked to.
Love that. I thought you were going to go the Charles Barkley route. They're like, you give us 2 words. He's like, give us 1 word. He's like, Chris Paul and Steve Nash. Have you seen that?
No, I have not. No, that's funny. So Ben Rice, rising star.
Yep.
He is going to take a little bit to get reacclimated after the injury.
Yep.
Do not jump off his bandwagon. You will be sorry.
Yep.
Aaron Judge, best hitter in baseball. Right now, still not in his normal form, but not being in his normal form and having an OPS over 1,000 is laughably hilarious. It's just the funniest thing ever. So just wait until like July when he's hitting close to 300. It's going to be.
You said Judge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sleeping giant is probably the best way you can put it.
Yep.
He'll wake up. It'll be a problem.
Cody Bellinger might be the most underrated baseball player in the sport.
He's up there.
And he is a 5-tool player. I'll fight anybody on that.
That's right.
Ahmed Rosario is probably the most underrated non-starter in the sport. You ask him to do anything, and he's going to do it. He's not a great defender, and he knows that. Like, I think he himself knows he's not offering much with the glove, but he's still a willing defender. And on top of that, his at-bats are actually fun to watch. He's a competitive at-bat. He doesn't, like, when he comes up, you're like, I actually think he could come through here. You're not just like, oh, it's over. This inning's done. You know those guys.
I like you saying willing and underrated. That's a theme so far.
Yes.
Okay.
Jazz Chisholm, incredibly disappointing. Raw talent. Jazz Chisholm, we know who Jazz Chisholm is. You know who Jazz Chisholm is. You watched, because you're in Arizona, Jazz Chisholm is Kyler Murray. That's who Jazz Chisholm is. He's probably one of the most raw, talented players in the sport. And Kyler, for whatever reason, he gets a lot of flack even when he's playing well.
Right.
Kyler still, despite the issues I have with his game, I watch the tape and I'm like, this dude is still immensely talented. He's still capable of throwing it all over the yard. Jazz Chisholm is no different. Jazz Chisholm has a laundry list of people that can't stand him. And yet he has games where you're like, this dude was the best player on the field today.
Yeah,
but he has games where he's
like, against DeGrom, you're like, oh, you saw the swing he had at Yankee Stadium off DeGrom. You're like, that's the guy. By the way, I love that you brought up Kyler Murray. I think the comparison, you couldn't make a better one.
One for one.
Does Kyler Murray have does he have a strong arm?
I think he's got a pretty strong arm. I do.
I would agree. Can he run at all?
He can run.
Runs like the wind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything physically that Kyler can't do outside of grow? Not really, right?
Nope.
And yet, Kyler Murray's numbers over the long haul say this guy's not a very good football player. And yet, the same story is going to be made against Jazz Chisholm. It's easier to look like a better player because you can hit, I don't know, you can hit 30 homers. You can hit 215, right? Nobody really cares about batting average anymore. Maybe some of our listeners do. But there are a lot of people today that are willing to overlook it. You can go hit 202, right? Anthony Volpe hit 200.
Yeah.
Hit 20 home runs, and what did they say? He plays great shortstop and he hit 20 home runs. That's all they said. They didn't mention anything else. No context. Jazz Chisholm is a good baseball player if you ignore the context. If you don't watch every day, he's a great baseball player. Jazz Chisholm
actually a really good point.
He's easily, and I mean this in my heart of hearts, I wouldn't lie just in case you'd see this. He's easily a top 20 most talented baseball player in the world today. However, it's not about talent. Go to the NFL draft combine, and Jake, you obviously are forced to watch tape after tape after tape of different football players, and yet you're sitting there watching all those goons sit there with their whistles and their stopwatches, and they're trying to figure out how to measure different players, right? Oh, that guy ran a 4.2. Oh my God. Well, now obviously now the Raiders must want him because he runs a 4.2, right? The cliche.
The accuracy.
But what really matters is what's between the ears and what's out there measurable, because if you don't have the tape, consistent tape to back it up, you're exposed. Jazz Chisholm's tape sucks. It's not any good. And Jazz Chisholm is going to go out there and, hey, lackadaisical, I'm cool. They believe in me. You guys might want to give up on me. No one's here to give up on you. It's nonsense. The chip on your shoulder, the whole like Marcus Stroman ploy, it's nonsensical to me. Yankees fans are rooting for this guy. They want it to work. But it's tiresome to watch a baseball player be this talented and have this low of a floor on a day-to-day basis. The New York Yankees, as currently constructed, if Jazz Chisholm lived up to his potential, and I don't mean this as a knock like he's some pathetic waste of space, because he's not. He's still a good ball player. If he reached his potential, he's a top of the lineup asset for a team that'll be deep in a postseason run. They have all the pitching in the world. They need a better bullpen. They're going to figure that out at the deadline. And Jazz Chisholm can't get it figured out.
We're at the 40-game mark.
7th. Yeah,
it's absolutely a fair sample size. That's why I wanted to do this exercise, by the way. Absolutely a fair sample size, because Jazz Chisholm,
I think so,
is hitting 206 with a 289 on base and a 326 slugging.
What's his ops, by the way, as we currently stand?
As we below 700? Stand, it is 616.
It's almost below 600. Folks were making fun of DJ LeMahieu's. His ops was about 640, and we cut his ass. Now, of course, he wasn't playing the level of defense that Jazz is, and I'm ignoring the error that Jazz made today, conveniently. But if a player can show you that he's this talented, and he can just wake up and give you the floor that Jazz gives us on a day-to-day basis, you have the audacity to ask me for an extension. No extension should even be out your mouth. Well, the next time you talk extension, you should be giving us the best of you.
You know what's so funny is that Kyler Murray got the deal, and the Cardinals finally just moved on from him. He's going to the Vikings. I think it's a perfect fit. Anyone that knows football, he's got all the weapons in the world to throw to. The offensive line should be fine. The running game should be fine. Then you got a really good defense and a great coach. I think it's a great fit for him. Jazz's fit might not be with the New York Yankees. There's an actual chance here that his best chance is not with the New York Yankees. He's a weird player to me because I thought he would benefit from being in the shadows. It almost seems like he needs to thrive off of being in the spotlight. And I'm not talking about in the postseason, Gary, but like he's in the shadows right now. He has guys in front of him doing their thing. I don't really know what to make of him because I like him. But it's really frustrating because he's way too good to be hitting 206 through 40 games. But that said, moving on, Caballero. Jose Caballero is the type of, let's say you go to a buffet, right? There's all sorts of food everywhere, like a nice buffet. I'm not talking about like a rinky dink, Golden Corral. I don't know what's in half of this shit.
Literally,
buffet.
my wife's family wanted to go to a buffet today. I said, I'm not going to get that pigeon food. I'll meet you. I'll meet you at the mall. I'm not going.
I like buffets, but like not Golden Corral slop.
Yeah, I'll be on the toilet before I even leave.
Or you'll be over the toilet. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when you go to those buffets, right, there's always like a bunch of dishes that are like obvious, right? Like, oh yeah, I have to go with the mashed potatoes here. It looks amazing, right? Got to go with that golden corn, looks really good. Oh, that nice juicy steak, like stuff like that, whatever. Caballero is quite literally when you get like one of those house salads, he's the balsamic vinaigrette. You can have salad by itself and it does the same health-wise, right? But it's going to taste like you're just eating grass, like off the ground. Caballero having that, like being the balsamic vinaigrette, it goes with the salad. The salad still benefits you, but now you got a little bit of a nice taste, right? And so that to me is what Caballero is for this team. He is the salad dressing. The team's the salad. He's the salad dressing. He's the finishing thing on top.
Fair. He's the compliment.
Yeah. He's not the cherry on top because I think cherries are disgusting. And I'm not going to do that to Caballero. You know what? He's the whipped cream on the shake. There you go. That's how I feel. Because he's not the whole package there. But he does the things that you really need to get the most out of, your offense. And so right now, Caballero's underrated. He's consistent, and he's easily one of my favorite Yankees that I've seen in recent memory. I pulled his card today in a pack. There's no hollow. There's no sort of refractor, right, Gary? There's no like serialized number.
No,
Don't
so the
care.
card is worth. It's literally worth a dime.
It's not even worth that. It's probably worth 2 cents. I put it in a penny sleeve. I literally will be keeping it because I love Caballero, the player. I think he's one of my favorite Yankees I've ever seen. So that's how I feel about him. Spencer Jones, immense talent, looks ahead of the curve in a weird way. I know that sounds weird to say because he's struck out, now 4 or 5 times. But it's only 2 games, and I see somebody that's going up there, and he's not backing down. And on top of that, it's like he has this controlled aggression where he's like, I am going to swing for the fences, and that I don't love, but that's his swing, right? But at the same time, I can also take that pitch the other guys are going to swing at. So I think he's done a really nice job with all things considered. It's not been easy. We talked about how it wasn't going to be easy going up against Harrison. Kyle Harrison's a very good pitcher. I understand Mizorowski is going to generate all the headlines. Do not shortchange Kyle Harrison. He's a very good pitcher. I don't know why they used him the way they did today. I don't. But anyway, that said, I think we all know like Spencer Jones has crazy, crazy upside. Austin Wells, he is incredibly disappointing. I think he's the most disappointing Yankee I could think of in a long time because he truly had me fooled. I don't care about the defense. I really don't care at all. The reason being is because you can go and find, look at today. You can go find a Patrick Bailey, the best defensive catcher in baseball, and he has no bat whatsoever. He's going to hit 144. Like, he's not going to help you in the slightest offensively, which, by the way, that'd be nice if it was like you had, instead of a DH, you had a designated fielder, right? Wouldn't that be great? You could just have a catcher.
It would be good,
just
but ironically, neither of our catchers would be that either.
Well, that's my point I'm making.
Just like serviceable defensively.
Yep.
There's no way you can look at Austin Wells and be like, oh yeah, he's a great catcher. Like our broadcast, quite literally, we have to scrounge compliments together for Austin Wells. They're like, hey, he's really gotten hot with the challenge system. I'm like, are we kidding with this? We're sitting here talking about, and mind you, we're high on Joe Girardi, right? Joe Girardi is a former catcher. He loves talking about what the guys are doing back there, talking about like the positive impact they're making.
Yeah.
Is there any positive impact that Austin Wells is making over an extended period of time that doesn't have to do with the challenge system?
No, that's the thing,
No.
Gary, is that, and I defended Wells, but I'm not, I'm like, maybe I'm a little bit of an optimist and I get that, but I'm also a realist. And I'm going to call out guys. I mean, I just called out Jazz Chisholm. That hurt. I really like him, but I'm being honest here. Austin
What
Wells.
does it mean to be an optimist, by the way?
It means basically that you think more of the positive than the negative in most circumstances.
On that one player?
In general. Here, all right,
Yeah,
so
fair.
here's Austin Wells' career for the Yankees. This is a 290 game sample size. So if this isn't enough, I don't know what is. Truthfully. Austin Wells is hitting 221, a 298 on base percentage, a 411 slugging, and a 710 OPS. Keep in mind his rookie year, right? He had a tremendous run at the end of the season, then fell off a cliff. His numbers in that season end up not looking so tremendous. 229, 322 on base, 395 slugging, 718 OPS.
I don't know how his slugging so low because
it doesn't
quite
make any
literally is
sense
trying
because
to
he
hit a
sells
home
out
run.
for home runs. So I don't.
He is quite literally trying to hit a home run every single time he swings the bat. He's got great bat speed. No one's taking that away from you. But that's not. This isn't a pinata contest. This is baseball, and the whole point of the game is to hit the baseball with the barrel of the bat. And then you're not just rolling the dice. There's also a skill and a talent to it where you hit the ball where the fielders aren't. And obviously there's no fielders over the wall. So he thinks, well, I'm just going to have my launch angle be perfect and I'm going to hit the ball perfect. And we're seeing how that's working out. And so Guy mentions, and he's obviously bringing out sample sizes. I believe he's talking about 12 to 1,500 at bats.
But I mean, 914, I feel like we know that Austin Wells is a guy who he doesn't walk as much, but at the same time, it looks like he's improving on that. But he's like 191 batting average, Gary. This year would be the worst of his career, right? So,
yes,
it is 634 OPS. And of course, this is Baseball Reference, which is a day or two behind. But the point stands, right? Austin Wells, as much as I was excited about him, just kind of looks like just a guy.
Wait, hold on. How many at bats does he have, Jake? To be fair,
total. So that would be 914.
So he has 914 at bats. Doesn't this sample size change for each organization? Because if you're a Dodgers prospect and you're part of a win now organization, a team that needs you to perform now, you're okay. We need an outfielder. Michael Conforto's not getting it done. Somebody's got to go out there. Our top prospect's going to do it. Okay, great. He's here. The Dodgers don't have time for you to not be any good year one. Because you go, I don't know, let's say you go 450 at bats into the season. You start getting closer to that August 2nd trade deadline, or give or take a few days. It's right there in August. You think the Los Angeles Dodgers would be like, I hope he figures it out after 12 to 1,500 at bats. What Guy's mentioning is about giving up on the player completely. But as far as playing every day, which Austin Wells does, he plays every single day. For a team that calls himself a win now organization, you don't have 12 to 1,500 at bats. Sorry, you have to show a trajectory towards the type of player you're selling me on before I can give you 1,500 at bats.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And Austin Wells, can anyone in this audience, there's over 257 people in here in the middle of the night. We had a really late show. Can any single person tell me what has Austin Wells improved at from the at-bats you saw 2 years ago that you see today? I'll wait. Jake, you have the floor as well. Is there anything you see?
I have two things I want to bring up. The Anthony Volpe flattened swing, if they tried that with Austin Wells, you might see results. One. Two, because I do want to blame the Yankees, by the way. I think that they have done a horrible job. They view this guy, they see his power, right? We talk about this. I think they are spending way too much time on the launch angle. At the same time, it's Austin Wells' fault too. So I'm not trying to absolve him of that. What I do feel is that Austin Wells is not useless. Do you know what Austin Wells is?
What is Austin Wells?
He's a very solid platoon catcher. But because Brian Cashman has built such a wild team catcher-wise, so much so that even John Sterling had no idea what was going on, the late, great John Sterling, they have 2 left-handed catchers, Gary. 2 who can't hit lefties. So it's not like JC Escarra has reverse splits. So when you look at Austin Wells, I have the numbers here, right? Against right-handed pitching, he hits 226, 307, 435. That's a 742 OPS. Is it great? No, but it shows you
it's serviceable there.
You would take if those were his numbers right now. If he's hitting 226, no one's on his back, no one's on his case.
No.
You know, 742 OPS, you would take that. Now, when you look at his left-handed platoon stats, he hits 205, 272, 341, and a 613 OPS. This has been my issue, is that you have 2 lefty. It's why I've continued to bring up getting a righty catcher. Now, I understand Escarra honestly has an argument to play over Wells, because Escarra has had better moments than Wells at times this year. He's hitting 211. He has a 592 OPS, so it's not like anything crazy. But the way I see it is that this is horrible roster construction from a catcher standpoint. The platoon numbers show you that JC Escarra barely plays against left-handed pitching, by the way. And actually, he does have he has good splits against left-hand pitching, which is actually surprising, but it's only 25 at bats. I actually just looked
so it
this
is
up.
somewhat of a small sample size, but basically what you're bringing up is that if Austin Wells was part of a system, then basically they're forcing a system quarterback to be the drop back 50 times.
I'm telling you that we got it wrong. Well, I got it wrong. I know you started to feel a little bit better about Wells.
No,
I got it wrong.
You basically coerced me into being completely wrong about this guy. I was like, Austin Wells sucks from the get-go. And then you were like, you know what? I think you got something there. I was like, I knew I had it.
Well, to be fair, August that year, that was the biggest tease ever. He's hitting 280, Gary. How do you go from 280 to hit like 220
Hey,
something?
man, you remember that 1 month, that one time after all the years you've been here where you were actually good at something? Man, I hope we get back to that.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jeremy Lin also, right? But anyway, the point being, here's what we know through 900 something at bats. Austin Wells is not a everyday starter. That's okay. Go out and get a guy that can complement him, because JC Escarra's numbers against left-hand pitching, I actually take back what I said. He's hitting 400. He has a 444 on base, 520 slugging, 964 OPS. He's 10 for 25. He should be playing every single time they go against lefties. And if he starts to, fall off the wagon, then I'm getting a right-handed bat immediatally.
Can I ask you a question? Why is he not playing every time we face a lefty?
That's what I can't really answer that. I have no idea. Like honestly, he should be playing anytime they face a lefty.
And mind you, I'm not like jumping out of my chair over 25 at bats and he's playing well in those.
No,
at-bats.
but like those.
But Austin Wells in the same 25 at bats would be 3 for 25 against.
Yeah, this is why I look up everything, because I was told he had bad splits against lefties. He wasn't a reverse split guy. This actually. Yes. I will give Cashman credit if he turns out this is real. JC Escarra might actually be a reverse splits guy. He's terrible against right-handed pitching. Terrible.
What is he against right-handed pitching? Just so everybody has clarification there.
155 batting average, 243 on base, 289 slugging, and 532 OPS.
He's literally a scarecrow up there at the plate against righties.
He is the Tin Man.
He should literally just be sitting there like the scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, where he's just like.
No, he's the Tin Man, bro. He might as well just get hit. Like, that's the only way he's getting on base. He's absolutely useless. But against left-handed pitching, there might actually be something there. Now, what I think is stupid is that he's only had 25 at-bats in his entire career. So let's look at what he's done this year against left-handed pitching.
Carlos Rodon pitches tomorrow. If he gets lit, dude, our comment section is going to lose.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to lose their minds.
Oh, 6. So he has 11 at-bats against left-hand pitching this year. He has a 545 batting average, a 1,300 OPS. Yeah, so here's the deal, okay? Aaron Boone should be stoned if he doesn't play this man against left-hand pitching. Because, look, he could be terrible. Like, let's be honest here. It's absolutely possible. It's a small sample size.
Yes.
But, Gary, I was a right-handed batter, and I hated hitting against lefties. That's what this comes from. This is not like reverse splits come from feel, come from comfortability. Some guys, they just see the ball better against righties that are right-handed batters. That's why you get the reverse splits, you know? It's the same thing with lefty on lefty.
I would probably rather try something because I think it might work as opposed to just doing what I was doing that I know is already not working. It still may end up bad. And then we'll be like, oh, you remember when we told you about those splits? Yeah. It actually ended up going nowhere. But at least you looked at the data that was already on the table that's set in stone, and you drew a conclusion and made a decision. Now, ironically, guys brings up an amazing point. And guys, we're going to get caught up on our supers. We didn't expect you guys to be this awesome in the super. So thank you guys. He says, Jake, and now Escara plays tomorrow against a right-hander. Honestly, Wells hits righties. He never hits lefties. And obviously he doesn't hit righties at a clip high enough for them to be able to recognize the splits. He's kind of just serviceable against righties, to Jake's point. And then against lefties, he's so bad that they're like, I hope those numbers improve. It's like, they can't. You throw him up there against lefties and he just gets blown up.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this because, again, I said Aaron Boone, I think, has managed the season very well, but I also said that Aaron Boone is not an elite manager, so he has games where it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Yep.
I have Austin Wells splits this year, and I have JC Escaras next to each other, okay? Austin Wells against left-hand pitching is hitting 125 with a 435 OPS.
And how many at-bats?
That's 32 at-bats. So that's a larger sample size than JC Escara.
Yes.
Right-handed pitching, he is hitting 228 with a 740 OPS this year. So then you look at today with Kyle Harrison being a lefty, you're like, why the hell is Austin Wells playing? So guess what? They're flip-flopped because guess who's playing tomorrow? As the guy just said, you're going to have Escara. Well, here's the issue, Gary. Escara, in 11 at-bats against left-hand pitching, is hitting 545 with a 1,300 OPS. So basically, he's like Barry Bonds.
I feel like we're running the Wildcat offense with like Peyton Manning under center.
That's how I feel. Guess, dude, these righty splits are going to have you punching air.
Yeah.
27 at-bats, the same amount career, by the way, against lefties. So 27 this year against righties. He has an 074 batting average, a 107 on base percentage, a 185 slugging, and a 292 OPS.
I'm pretty sure we can send Jacob to the plate the rest of the year, take all of Jazz's at bats, and Aaron Boone could be like, hey man, you've got no chance to hit the ball. Just see if they'll hit you with the ball. And your on base would probably be 108.
I'd be doing cross body dives into the, like the wrestling thing, like off the turnbuckle. I'd be diving into the baseball
and just hope that they just cremate you and send you to first base.
Yeah.
That's how you get an on base of 108. I don't care what the sample size. If the sample size is 27 at bats, if your on base percentage is below 150, you may as well just be a ghost. You're not even there.
Yeah,
and so
this
kind of to your point, we've identified some splits, and the Yankees are just ignoring it altogether because they want to pretend that JC Escara is like
and where are the analytics?
A reset button for Austin Wells' knees.
Where are the analytics that created the lineup? If you're like, yeah, so our numbers show that this guy who literally is Jane playing, and then Tarzan, against left-hand pit, we're actually going to flip-flop them because we're going to catch them by surprise.
So it's probably the best case ever that the Yankees actually don't use analytics.
Yeah, and if they do, everybody should be fired, rehired, and then fired again.
Could any of those analytics nerds on Twitter even possibly argue that this is wrong. These are set in stone numbers. There's nothing to argue.
This is indefensible. You cannot defend this.
They're like, hey man, I got straight Fs in high school in history. I'm going to go to Dartmouth and major in history. No, you're not.
Batting average balls in play, 111 against righties, 600 against lefties. For Austin Wells, 282 against righties, 120 against lefties. This is like, they actually are maybe smarter than I gave them credit for. Like, they actually have a guy with the reverse splits, but they're not using them for the reverse splits. So I literally just have no idea what they're doing. None.
No, nobody does. And Derek, really appreciate the 2. Let's get caught up here in our supers. Thank you for the 2. And again, guys, if you're here and you want us to really support our channel, be sure to hype our video. I know we have an early morning game. So
Derek's telling me to check the minor league splits. Are you interested in that? Because I'll look it up and see if
no, you can go ahead and do that. I'll get caught up on some supers here and do some work. Thank you for the 2. Says the legacy of Boone era is losing by brain fart. I mean, you're going to be exposed by how you use the bullpen. We've actually been really pleased with what he's done over the year and also what he's done with the starters. This was just there's no way to defend what happened tonight. It was just a poor performance by not really the players. I actually liked the performance. The at-bats were terrible, but we saw some really good pitching. We didn't adjust, and we should have won this game still. Jersey Girl with the 5 says, time to admit Wells is a bust. Has no plan in the box. I mean, yeah, he does. He absolutely has a plan, and it is one plan only. And it is to hit it to a lucky fan out in right field stands. He says he looks lost. Big, loopy, sloppy swings, painful to watch. 183, 5 RBIs. Oh, he's hitting 183. He has 5 ribbies. Get a right-handed catcher at the trade deadline. To remind everybody, I don't believe the Yankees should wait until the trade deadline to get this done. The trade deadline, Jake, as you mentioned a few days ago, is in August. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not in the typical spot that it normally is in late July. We're waiting a long time for that moment. I want to get a solution in the building. This isn't like some major thing like a starting shortstop or your starting center fielder. This is our catcher where we want to get him in the room and get acclimated to the group, which is a great pitching staff in a rotation alone, let alone a lot of the moves we're going to make at the deadline as well. I don't want to wait until August to go get a right-handed hitting catcher. The Yankees have to solve this stat. And my favorite supporter on our show, love the picture there, says Dick's enormous with the 2.
These are favorites.
Says, yeah, we've got some young lingo, so we've got to be talking to someone young here. Says, bruv, what has Doval ever done for us? For F's sake. Well, he hasn't done anything. Well, he finished strong last year, just to actually answer the question direct, to the point where Jake and I said this could potentially work. He shouldn't be in the 8th inning, but if he gets it figured out, he should pitch for the Yankees if he gets it figured out, just not when he pitches for this team. And the Yankees said, no, you don't need to prove anything to us. Job's yours. They just threw the keys to somebody who never passed the driving test. So it's disappointing. Did you find those numbers, by the way, you were looking for, or do you want me to still tackle these supers?
I hate the way they do this because they're just like, oh, yeah, you know what? We didn't break it up by career in MILB. You have to go through each year. The data's so behind. They act like we're in the Stone Ages, like we're watching Babe Ruth so
play.
True, dude.
They're like, what's exit velocity? Wait a minute. You're trying to figure out where this kid played defensively? Like, you want to know, does he play more left field or right field? We don't know what you're looking for. It should be easy to figure out these things. And Jake, have you ever seen a big leaguer like Anthony Volpe, who was he was up with the big league team in the New York Yankees, and he gets sent down to the minor leagues? You're like, oh, I want to see his stats, see how he's doing in the minor leagues. They're like, he's disappeared. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, here's his year in 2023, 2024, and 2025. I'm like, where's 2026? So he's in the minor leagues. It's not there. You have to go to MILB to actually get those stats. Major League Baseball, they don't know what they're doing.
So 2024, he had a 270 batting average and 818 OPS against right-handed hitting.
Okay.
And 229 and a 690 against left-handed. So that's interesting. And then 2025, he had... This is back to what you were saying about the Stone Age. Jesus. All right. Left 256 with a 677 OPS and right 258 with a 732 OPS. I mean, it could just be that since he got to the big leagues, he just sees lefties better. I don't know. It's certainly possible to have
You're looking
that
at
much
2025, and they're making it seem like you're looking up before Christ.
It's so true. MILB, because I spend a lot of time on this site because I'm always keeping track of, like, for instance, the guy that they just moved up to AAA.
Oh, yes, the second baseman that you're high on.
Yes, and I'm always keeping tabs, and it's just like, this site's not great. It's not what you want. Like, there are some things that it's really lacking. But Anthony Volpe's hitting 234 and a 605 OPS currently.
He's back.
So he's integrated, and it's just not.
He's a well-oiled machine down there.
It's not really going how you would want it to go if you're Anthony Volpe. But anyway, the point stands though. It's just not. It's not great. Yeah.
I'll see him at a golf course in Scottsdale here pretty soon,
and then he'll get mad at you for your.
Yeah, he will. He's probably already mad. So, Ninja Hot Dog, thank you for the 10. And I saw you have multiple super chats. Thank you, obviously, for all your support. We're looking forward to meeting all of you guys at Yankee Stadium the 8th of September. But Ninja with the 10 says, that's the Yanks. I remember I was wrong. Yanks still can't beat teams above 500. So far, we haven't, right? And we've mentioned how we take that with a grain of salt. However,
I still do.
When you go into Milwaukee, we haven't taken care of business. This is an ugly, ugly showing. It looked bad against Tampa. It's looking bad against Milwaukee. We've got time to make this look right. Having said that, it doesn't look right so far. We're playing good ball, but not against the teams you really want to. And he says Boone is falling into old ways. And if infield still makes errors when they need to be clutch, nothing changed, fire everyone. Yeah, I feel like the big mistake, especially the mistake that really stuck out to me, is really the straw that broke the camel's back, was all the work Cam Schlittler was throwing in on a 10-pitch at-bat to their leadoff hitter. And you get pitch number 11, a ball's put in play, it's tipped off the glove. As a second baseman, you just have to be able to come up with that ball and make that play and pick up our ace. You can't boot that ball. You can't. Yeah. It simply can't happen in that situation where really his pitch count at that point was swelling. And you really look at it and you go, oh, who cares? We got the next guy. Nobody scored. But you know what ended up happening, Jake? We ended up having to pull Cam Schlittler after 6 innings, and it dominoed to a Doval actual appearance into this baseball game, and we lose. So you never know which mistake is going to cost you, which mistake might cost you 5, 6, 7 pitches the next at bat. And I feel like that one, while I don't blame Jazz Chisholm for the entire loss, I absolutely don't do that. I feel like that was Boone's fault. Some of these mistakes really end up catching up with you and put your manager in a situation where, oh, what should I do? And he makes that mistake. And that mistake just frankly couldn't happen. So Ninja, again, really appreciate it. And Yankee Fangirl for Life with the 2 says, what do you think about taking out Jones for Grish? We talked about it, Jake. There was actually no positive. Trent Grisham doesn't hit lefties. Why would you burn and provide another player? Like, picture this, guys. I'm really good. Like, if you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and they've got you get to call a friend and you're sitting there like, oh, who's that Pokemon? And Jake's a friend I can call. And I've got another friend who's never played Pokemon a day in my life. Do you think I'd call that friend and be like, hey man, what color's Pikachu? No. I would call Jake because he'd
Tell me
be good
you've
at
seen
it.
that video.
No. Oh, yes. Where he was like, he's yellow.
Pikachu.
He's Pikachu. Just do it. Yeah. But
just listen to me.
You utilize people only off the bench if the matchup is advantageous. If it's not, you're just clicking buttons just to click them. You might as well go to a blackjack table and be like, hey man, Yeah, I'll take a cocktail. Yeah, hit me. Does that guy who's sitting there turning around, not paying attention, does he ever win money? No. You have to be paying attention and say, hey, who's on my bench? What does he do well? Oh, yeah, he doesn't do that well. We're going to ignore him when that situation comes. What is Aaron Boone doing in that situation?
Yeah,
you know what he's probably doing, Jake? He's probably like, oh, his slugging's high late in games. And he was like, put him in. No, it doesn't work. And that's unfortunately the decision was made. We had no choice in the matter, obviously, but we don't have an answer for why it happened. Jake, you can go ahead and take this one because I mean, Him Till's always got some bangers.
Appreciate you, Him Till. Thank you for the 5. Tim Mountain himself. My bad, guys. I don't know what the hell I was thinking with the throw to third. Keep struggling with these scrappy teams: Rays, Jays, Brewers, and Marlins.
I love this bit.
I love it too. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I just want to reiterate, not necessarily for Him Tail, but just in general, going back to Ninja Hot Dog and others that brought up the above 500. I really don't give a rip. There are 11 teams other than the Yankees. I checked it again. Still only 11 teams other than the Yankees above 500. So
what date do you start checking those numbers? Because you cared about it last year, but it wasn't at this stage of the season. How far into the season where you're going to be like, oh, we aren't beating these teams, the good ones? What part of the season would you say?
I would say, I mean, after the trade deadline, you look and you see it hasn't really gotten better at that point. Well, not really, because it's now August 3rd. So, I'd say mid. You know what? I think the All-Star break is a fair spot.
Okay, so you're talking. We're talking now Summer Classic. That's not too far away. It's
they would have already played the Dodgers by then. So, I would say the All-Star break is the best case. And by the way, the Milwaukee Brewers are moving up the rungs here. They're right behind the San Diego Padres. They're 4.5 back from the Cubs. The Yankees actually fell out of first place in the.
Did we really?
Yep. Tampa won again. So
tip your cap. Not that they're better than us, or I feel like they're better than us. Yeah. But this is why we play 162 games. The best team is going to win. And if Tampa outruns us for whatever reason that there is, I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep because that's on them. That's on the Yankees. It's nothing to do with us. So right now, if you get to the end of the year and Tampa ends up winning 93 games and it's to your expense where you have to come out of a wild card again, you can blame yourself and you can look back and say, yeah, you remember when we went to Tropicana and just laid an egg and Chandler Simpson was just running all over us?
The Tampa game got postponed, so they just didn't play.
So by default, they kind of scooted by us.
Their win percentage is better. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I looked at that. I'm like, it's one of those things where you're smarter than what you're reading, but then you're reading it, so you're like, I'll just go with that. And you're like, I was smarter than to say that.
Jake's like, I was so smart I didn't read it.
Yeah, no, I was so smart that I did read it, and it actually changed.
It backfired on you by reading it because you already knew that we technically probably had a better record.
By the way,
Bautista, thank you for the 5, man.
There's only 4 teams in the AL that have a positive run differential.
Yeah, the AL sucks, and it'll get better. Like we expect Toronto to be better.
The Tigers,
all that, but they're not good.
The only team in the Central that has a positive run differential, they're in 4th place. That's why I think the Tigers are going to turn around and win that division. I'm not high on Cleveland. Kansas City should be much better than they are, but I don't know. Maybe they just aren't.
I hope they send us Bobby Witt Jr. I would send anything. You know how happy I'd be if Bobby Witt Jr. was a Yankee. It was the best day ever. The best day ever. Oh my God.
He's great. Yeah, no, we like Bobby Witt Jr. The Twins are they're just there. They're the fake plant at the office that just sits there.
They're candle at like the dinner table that's like a fake candle that's just like literally has a switch on the bottom of it. They're literally just present at the event. The Twins are useless. They are absolute total joke.
They're just there. The Angels are kind of useless too.
Bautista's got a banger of a super chat here. It says Austin Wells, and he went lowercase, didn't even capitalize his name. should be teammates with Volpe. He's sucking ass right now. To be fair to Austin Wells, Jake has mentioned he's not as bad as we think he is. He's a platoon player that's being used as a starter. I like this, Jake, because a player can be overutilized and become a bad baseball player or a bad athlete. But when you use them the way that they have to be used, like you wouldn't have Kyle Korver, the NBA sharpshooter, and be like, oh yeah, he's going to be a volume scorer and in the post now. No.
Could you imagine
be
that?
Able to do that. No, it'd be hilarious. But
we're going to use Kyle Korver in ISO. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to find him in the corner, and he's going to shoot right off the catch.
Yes. Hey, Derek Fisher. Yeah, we've got Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, we're going to have Derek Fisher run the offense.
You couldn't use Smush Parker in that one because he actually did.
Yeah, I couldn't. I thought, what's funny, I thought about it, and he went out. But yeah, we're basically telling you Austin Wells is a very niche player, and the Yankees are using him like he's Posada. He's not, and he never will be. So Bautista, thank you for the super. And Jay Spanton with the 5. Welcome back in. Says the Yankees are easy outs. I don't really agree. I feel like the Brewers were just, their staff was better in our offense in this series. And we're going to see over the macro what that looks like. You may be right, but I don't think it's realistic to draw the conclusions now.
I think it's too much generalization. Like I don't think like this Yankees team that has been, they've now, they've won 14 of their last 18 games. I'm not about to sit here and be like, yeah, they're just easy. They're not that good. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. We're not going to rewrite, what we've been seeing from this. This team is still very good. I'm not going down the negative the negative wagon here. I understand why people feel the way they do. Appreciate the super, of course, Jay Spanton. Me personally, though, I still think this team is very capable of really beating anybody, and I'm not worried about all the negativity. This is going to happen, by the way. Like this, you can't just win every single game. And the Yankees winning 13 or 14 of their last 16, we knew at some point, especially it would probably come on the road, they were going to run into a buzzsaw. And honestly, the first game of the series, left a bad taste in my mouth. This second game did not, because they were right there. They could have won this game. Should they have? I would say no. I think the Brewers were the better team today. But the fact that they're right there, and most of their losses, they've been right there, tells me all I need to know about the resiliency of this team.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought they shit themselves today. That was just my take on it.
They put it in. They took it to I almost said overtime. That's how you know it's getting late.
No, but you're in VGK mode as well. So don't cut
fair.
Yourself short.
And that's all they do is play overtime games at this point.
Oh, that's it. Well, they blew him out the water today. So Jay Span, thank you for the super. And again, with the 2, says Jake, never leave your cave again. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to see you not in a twin size bed. Obviously, you're zoomed way out. I look like Andre the Giant, but I appreciate you being back in there.
You look like Frankenstein's monster. That's what you look like.
I do. And Ninja Hot Dog with the 5 says this team hasn't properly been tested yet. I would agree with that. I feel like you can't be tested this early in the season.
Well, there's only 11 teams above 500 other than you.
The test, there's too little of them.
And honestly, Gary,
by the break, we'll know where those tests were.
Playing a 21-18 athletics team is not really a test I'm looking for. I'm talking, when I think a test, the Rays again, the Dodgers, the Padres going up against Mason Miller, Milwaukee's a test, the Cubs, the Braves, these are tests, right? You're not getting a test playing the Seattle Mariners. You're not getting a test playing the Guardians or the Reds or the Pirates. You know what I mean? Like the Cardinals.
Maybe by the end of the year, Jake, like once some of those teams are established, like let's just say the Rays.
No, but I mean right now,
in August,
they would not like. And so that's my point is that we can't get the Yankees in trouble when the only tests they would have been able to play right now that would be significant enough to call tests. Cubs, Braves, Rays, Dodgers, Padres, Brewers. That's 6 teams. Sorry, Cardinals. I wouldn't call them a test. They can't win at home. They're 10-10 at home. So
yeah, they're not a test. And I feel like
yeah.
everybody knows they're overachieving. They're kind of like the Los Angeles Angels of the last few years. Everyone's like, oh, don't sleep on them. I'm like, really? They're going to go win 73 games. They suck.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue with the Cardinals, and we talked about it, their rotation is really confusing. They have McGreevy, who's pitching out of his freaking mind. They also have Dustin May and Matthew Liberatore, so no idea what they were thinking going into the season, but there's that.
Oh, by the way, I want to make sure I get to the entire super chat because Jay Span wanted us to read the entire thing, which is completely valid, by the way. I didn't realize we didn't do that. Let's see here.
Oh, we didn't?
I think it is this one. So Jay Span, he says, this is on the offense. The offense was putrid, but also Boone was putrid. I think both can be true. Boone was not good. You don't bring Doval into that game. You don't pitch hit somebody who doesn't hit lefties and take him out because they're like, oh, that guy's a lefty. He doesn't hit lefties. Well, you just took out a guy that would struggle more times than not to bring out somebody who would struggle more times than not. That's not good management. I'm sorry. And you bring Bednar into a game because he didn't pitch since Tuesday, and you're like, hey, this is just your time. No, you don't throw Doval out there with one out. You bring him in there. Hill comes in. He doesn't even know the situation. We weren't prepared to play baseball today. That's all there was to it. He says the Brewers battle. That I agree with. They have the best pitching. I don't agree with that, but they have good pitching. And we're sloppy Susie at the plate. I don't know. So Jay Span, again, thank you for the super.
Yes.
The Brewers deserve credit for a lot of what happened today. That said, I didn't feel like this game was really taken from us. You have to put certain players in certain positions in order to succeed. You can't just throw them into the game and be like, hey, I know Grisham doesn't hit lefties, but I pray that he does today. That's not how you win games against good teams. And so you can blame the offense. Their pitching shut us down. We didn't get off the mat. But I feel like Boone's decisions, you can't afford to make those mistakes when your offense doesn't play well. So, yeah. Like the super there.
I want to point this out. I actually agree. I would change my mind on it. Really thinking about it, the Yankees did outplay them, and they should have won the game. So I don't want it to dress it up like the Brewers dominated the Yankees. It was for the taking. They had an opportunity. The Yankees were in control, and they blew it. But just because they blew it doesn't mean like the Brewers were supposed to win the entire time. The Yankees did control the game, albeit maybe not like a stranglehold, but they had control of the game, and I do agree with this.
Yeah, if you're sitting in a 3-0 game, and it's not to say that's what this was, but if it's 3-0, 4-0, and a team has the lead or is holding a lead, and they have got somewhat of a system here, we're bringing in our setup, man. We're going to bring in our closer. There's no reason that all of those guys in those positions come into the game and you find a way to lose. You blew the game, even on the road, which we always tend to give teams credit when they go on the road and win these games. And I want to get to the rest of Ninja's super chat. I don't want to cut him short either. He said, so far it's not great. I counted. We are 25-7 against teams below 500 and 1-7 against teams above 500. Jake, the point that we've really come to is you just can't use people's records, teams' records in hindsight. You can't be like, hey, we went and swept the Baltimore Orioles, and now all of a sudden say, yeah, but their record is such. Well, yeah, their record sucks because they came into Yankee Stadium and lost 4 straight games. The Yankees went on a 5-game losing streak, and they've been awesome ever since. That's why our record is what it is. So part of the reason for that is because their records look bad. They played us. That is why. So I understand this. Ninja, technically what you're saying is exactly correct. We can't argue those numbers. It's just too soon to draw the conclusion. However, if you're going into the years prior and going, well, that's why I care this early, then by all means, I get it. But when you're talking about, and Jake, I think you're right. When we get to the All-Star game, now you can turn around and know, is Tampa an actual real contender? Are they a team we actually have to worry about? Did Toronto get up off the mat? They're more healthy. Are they actually for real again? Are we going to see them for sure in the division series? We'll know that by that point. Now you know when we run into the Dodgers, when we run into Toronto, if we beat the brakes off one of them or 2 of them and none of them are up there for a division lead or not, they're not even in the race, we now know, oh, we beat them because they're not real contenders. Same thing can be said, Jake, when we went out and beat the brakes off Milwaukee. Everyone said they suck. That's why. right? And Aaron Judge is hitting homers off of Nestor Cortez. They're like, oh, Milwaukee's going to be a joke. They're going to make trades at the deadline. And what happened? They didn't lose another game, it felt like, the whole rest of the year. And everyone's like, oh, we're going to forget about that series the Yankees played against Milwaukee. It didn't count because they got them early. We're going to know if we're good against contenders later. And if we're not, we're going to be the first two people. These two jabronis, we're going to rip them to shreds if they can. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's just not the time to do that. But Jake, look at this name. Bomba.
That is a Dragon
Bombastic
Ball.
Plastic.
I have to look at Dragon. That's some sort of Dragon Ball avatar. So I already love it.
It is. It's a little small on our screen, so I can't really tell exactly what I'm looking at, but thank you for the 5 assists. Putting Doval in when you're only 2 or less runs up makes me sweat straight up. Waterfalls from my armpits. Yeah, it's a stressful situation. It's the reason, Jake, I tweeted and said I'm not comfortable right now. I believe this is a personnel issue. Unless you want to go with Tim Hill and you really want to push him back and further into games, I don't really see the Yankees wanting to do that. I've also said that Cruz is not a strike thrower. I don't throw him in that position either. Doval's not a strike thrower. I don't put him in a setup role. I don't put him in a closer's role. Doesn't work. The Yankees need personnel change at that one specific location. And if they do that, I think they're a much better team.
What's interesting, because, when pitchers struggle out of the bullpen, my dad actually is the reason why I did this. Remember, my dad had the whole, was it Clay Holmes? Like, he found Clay Holmes pitches better.
It was Clay Holmes, and he also talked Weaver because he was trying to get Weaver promoted, and he was trying to demote Clay Holmes, and the numbers told the perfect story. Yeah, he was on the money.
So I'm curious. So I haven't looked at this yet. So basically, Doval in the 9th inning for his career has a 657 OPS, given up 328 batting average balls in play, which makes sense. He throws really hard. 8th inning, he gives up a 745 OPS, and batting average balls in play is 304. The 7th inning, which, by the way, he's just under 9 innings less than the 8th inning. He's pitched in the 7th inning. He gives up a 466 OPS. That's actually his best, in a sense. Batting average against him is 111, whereas in the 9th inning in 195 innings pitched, to be fair, it's 230, 236 in the 8th, 111 in the 7th, 298 in the 6th. So, yeah, maybe he's just a 7th inning guy. There's not a lot of sample size there, to be fair, but yeah, to your point though, like, his 8th inning numbers, he should never be pitched in the 8th inning. Do you know his numbers in the 8th inning? They're atrocious.
I have no idea. I figure it couldn't be good because the Giants were like, he throws 140 miles an hour and he can't miss a barrel and he walks everybody. Then the Yankees got him.
ERA.
522. His ERA is 522?
Yep. In 40 innings pitched in the 8th inning.
Yeah, I mean.
So we got one dude who's literally Ted Williams hitting against lefties as a left-hand catcher who's only playing against righties. We have another dude who is only good when going up against righties as a left-hand hitter that he plays every day, like he's not a platoon player. And we have a bullpen pitcher who literally has the worst numbers you've ever seen when he pitches in the 8th inning. That is, get this, pitching in the 8th inning.
And only good in the 7th, and he exclusively never pitches in the 7th.
Yep. This is why we do
At
the
least
research.
It's not he pitches well in the 9th, and we're like, our hands are tied. We're not going to give you Bednar's job.
Yeah.
Isn't everyone already clamoring for a demotion anyways? So doesn't this seem like an easy demotion if you're Aaron Boone? Hopefully he's looking at these numbers. He's doing enough research. It's proven he's doing research at the minor league level. He's putting in more work. I can tell that already. Do the work of the guys that are already in the room. You have to be. And you just can't look at somebody and be like, yeah, he's really good in the 7th. He's horrible in the 8th and 9th. He's my setup, man. See you in the 8th. It's just It's
No
not.
idea.
It's not. It's yeah. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
It's
I want to get to the super chat first.
Not what you want.
It's not what you want. Ninja Hot Dog with the 5 says Jazz literally said last year he's better as a contact hitter. He said he's going to take a 70% swing, for those of you who forgot. Then immediately decides to play in the home run derby. He also, the following offseason, said, I'm going to go 50-50, meaning I'm going to be a pure power bat. Okay.
Was the home run derby the worst thing to ever happen to Jazz Chisholm?
The home run derby was, if you needed proof that he hadn't matured as a baseball player the way that he was intending to give off to the media and to the Yankees fans and to all of us, that's all the proof you needed. And I understand that Jazz probably like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to have fun and all this stuff. That's the thing, is the Yankees aren't a place to have fun.
Yeah.
The fun is in winning. There is no other fun. I hope you have zero fun playing for the Yankees if we don't win. I want you to hate it, matter of fact. Because if I asked Derek Jeter, hey, what would your career have been like if you just did what you did? But remember the 5 championships you had? What if I told you get none of them? He'd be like, well, I don't come for this. This is not why I play for the Yankees. I play for the Yankees to be the winner and have people hate us. I love that. Matter of fact, it's a quote. And so Jazz is just kind of going with the flow. I'm going to wear my hat how I want. I'm going to wear my chains, just like Verdugo did. He's just more talented. And we're just kind of rolling around. I'm going to do the derby. I'm going to make these lofty goals. I'm not going to admit anyone's a better baseball player than me, despite how stupid it looks. He doesn't know who he is, despite how talented he really is. He's like here, and he thinks he's here, and it's forcing him down here. His
numbers, by the way, don't suggest outright that the home run derby has like destroyed him. I think it's just more so the mentality. Like his numbers right after the home run derby in 2025 were fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had 217 in August, clearly looking for more home runs. By the way, most home runs he hit all year last year in August. So it did change something there, but he also had an 861 OPS, 339 on base, 522 slugging. It's like 217. I don't love it, but he had some other really good numbers to back that up. September to October
to hit 217. It's not.
No, I completely agree. But then, September, October, he ends up having his best month stretch, we'll say 25 games since June, when he hit 318 at a 991 OPS. He goes 261 and he has a 756 OPS. Again, way too talented for 756. That said, I guess my point is that I still think, even though the numbers don't suggest that like he fell off a damn cliff after hitting in the home run derby, my feeling is that mentally it might have messed him up. Like now he feels like he needs to be a power hitter, and playing in New York is not the place when you're like that, because they are going to encourage that. They see him as like, oh, short porch in left field. We want you to hit 40 home runs. I actually would go as far as to say, I don't know. I know the Yankees have been changing their mind. I don't want to really take credit away from them, because they have done things like Caballero over Volpe, right? Calling up Spencer Jones, calling up Jason Dominguez, like giving ERC a chance. Like they're showing that they can change. At the same time, it is the New York Yankees. They are the Bronx Bombers. They do love the home run ball. There is no way, shape, or form you can tell me that they're telling Jazz Chisholm to have the 70% swing. There's no way that you can tell me that they want Jazz Chisholm to be a speed demon on the base paths. They want him to hit home runs. That's what they want. That's what they've wanted with most of these guys. They view Jazz as somebody that right now doesn't have to do anything because everyone else is doing stuff. But if no one else does stuff, then Jazz is going to be thrown under the bus to hit home runs. He's not going to be thrown under the bus to hit for contact. He's not going to be thrown under the bus to be a speed demon. That's why, Caballero, to me, they're looking at him entirely to be what Jazz Chisholm should also be. Like, it's okay to have two of the same guys that can also wreak havoc and be dynamic on the base paths. That's just my opinion, but that's how I feel right now, is that I feel like they're not going to help his case. And to your point, like the mentality there, I mean, look at this point here. Last year in the Yankees wins that Jazz Chisholm played in, this is 73 games, he hit 290 with over 1,000 OPS. In their losses that Jazz played in, he hit 182 with a 562 OPS. Now you'll find this.
Some would call that an X factor.
Yeah, you'll find that in losses, like Aaron Judge's numbers aren't the best. Like this is normal, but this is this is a lot different. 182 to 290, 1,000 OPS to under 600. Jazz Chisholm is still important to this roster. And I've said this. And I understand that I said, if Grisham and McMahon hit, this team is going to win the World Series. Jazz also has to hit. And I think it's kind of just become, even though maybe we don't see it, because we do a show every day, Gary, which I think does put pressure on us to really cover everything. We try to. But it also puts us in kind of a situation where maybe we overreact to certain things because we're doing a show every day. That said, Jazz Chisholm, maybe it's just me, it just feels like he's somebody that kind of flies under the radar, and it's because of who's now in front of him. If Ben Rice didn't take the next step, Jazz Chisholm is more in the spotlight than ever, right? If Aaron Judge goes down, right, now Jazz Chisholm, it's like he seems to be just kind of on the next, like, he's right behind all these guys. When these guys don't hit or they, God forbid, go down with injury, then Jazz is going to really be in a tough spot. So I think it's a big thing for him to get going because baseball, we know it. Guys are going to get banged up. It's a long season. And Jazz is going to be required for this team to have success through those moments. You already lost Stanton. You lost Jason Dominguez for the time being. Like, we've already seen injuries. So
and don't forget, Jazz Chisholm is not the most durable player we've ever seen.
That too.
So we can't, and it's not that you're doing that. But when you talk about the rest of our roster in the Stantons, right? And we've talked about Clark Schmidt. We've talked about how some of these guys have struggled to stay on the field. Jazz Chisholm, if you look at him, he looks like one of those type of builds, right, that you'd see in 2006, right? Like Placido Polanco, where, he played all 162. He did it 3 years in a row. Jazz Chisholm actually struggles to stay healthy. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for him to get hurt. I never want anyone to get hurt. That's just common. But Jazz is a type of player where if you're showing inconsistency as a baseball player when you're on the field, and then you also show inconsistency in staying on the field altogether, well, inconsistent play and inconsistent, showing up to the job and showing up to work, it doesn't lead to a $200 million contract. Let's just put it that way, Jake. So that's true. That's the situation we're in. And I guess there's some people feeling like, we're getting screwed by Jazz. This is screwing us. No one's getting screwed more by his play than himself. When he sees his check, and he's gonna do just fine. He's gonna be rich for the rest of his life. But it's a matter of if you're gonna be wealthy, generationally wealthy. That generational wealth isn't coming being this version. I'm not talking about the struggling after the last 10 games. None of that. It's the up and downs. Like we see you hit with an ops of 900 for a month, and then you go into October and you give us a 400. That type of player, you're not getting the check that you're looking for. I promise you. So I hope he turns it around. I'm really rooting for him, but it's just right now it's just not good.
He was much better at third base, by the way, as a hitter. I don't know why, but the numbers are stark different.
Man. Who knows why? Guy, he also wasn't in a contract year, so that may be potentially why. So Guy, thank you for the 5. Says, here's why Wells shouldn't be batting against left-handers. He hits 125. Cashman's fault, right-handed. No catcher Wells would be hitting 235. This is completely true. Right-handers, that's a lot of the issue. I completely agree. I just think this is a personnel issue that's not really Austin Wells' fault. He's not an everyday player. They use him as one. And that's the problem. So, Guy, I really appreciate it. Obviously, we did discuss it a little bit. We don't want to be redundant, and it's not your fault, obviously.
Yeah, he said not to read it. I was just like, no, we're gonna read.
No, hell no, we're gonna read it. We absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really glad you saw that. But Scott Ross, welcome back. Thank you for the 5. Says, well, is a backup catcher. Paraphrasing Dennis Green, he is who he thinks he is.
Yeah. Oh, now I got to add that to the Bixing board. We are who we thought they were. And we let him off the hook.
And I'm an Arizona guy, so heard that plenty in the local radio.
I'm sure you did.
It was awesome.
That's a different thing, but
When
You
we
know,
clinch, we have to
the
click that too.
Yankees are almost guaranteed to make the playoffs every single year. So
Yeah, because you got to win like 3 games to make it.
yeah, but like if they weren't, playoffs would definitely be in our soundboard.
It would be. Michael, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the 5. Says, where's the blame on Judge? Horrible base running. Took them out of the inning. Need more. Think 1-run lead in extra innings. D?
Um,
The base running, I want to address the base running.
mhm.
Bad base running is bad base running. There were bad fundamentals all over this game. I mentioned the Tim Hill play. He throws the ball to third base.
Good
right?
Christ.
Him Till came in and apologized for him. There was no
What a real
reason.
one.
Right. And just love accountability.
Yeah.
You get a ground ball to the pitcher. You go to first base. It would have been the same thing if you'd thrown it to third base and gotten the out. He didn't know the out. That's what happened. Now, having said that, and Girardi even mentioned it on the broadcast, Aaron Judge, when people make mistakes for things they're not typically good at, I really don't lose sleep. I understand it sucks to watch people make mental mistakes and physical errors, but when they're physically or mentally, that's not the strength of their game, and then they make a mistake, I don't lose it. But when we put players in position where it's just not going to work out, right? We pinch hit Trent Grisham in a situation where you're like, well, why would he be coming into the game? He doesn't excel at this spot, right? He's a good player in a niche job. Why would you put him in this situation? This isn't going to work. That's where you get frustrated. So yeah, Michael, the base running wasn't good, right? The play, throwing it to third base, fundamentally wasn't good. The Yankees made so many mistakes today, mental and physical. And as much as you feel like we just squandered this game away, the Brewers, the way that they fought late in game offensively, that's what contenders look like. You make mistakes, you're not leaving the yard with a win. That's how it goes. So when we start getting closer to the All-Star break, we're going to know, is today's mistakes, are those compounding and becoming a habit again, as they were in 2025 and 2024, because it didn't catch up to us till the very end in 2024. It caught up to us early last year. Now I want to see again, what can they prove to us over the long haul of the regular season? As much as people think it doesn't matter, it will matter, because that team who you were in the clutch in regular season ball is exactly your identity in October. It's not random violence. It's not luck. It's not a coin flip the way it's right. It's not the casino. It is your habits. And Michael is illustrating his frustration with poor habits. And as we go on, you hope those go away. So Michael, we do appreciate the super. Jake, we got some banger super chats tonight.
Oh,
really
absolutely. Good. You can only do you can only do so many warm-up shows before you actually have that big performance on Broadway. When you get to that point, that's it. Like,
have you been to Broadway? By the way, have you been to any
I've
plays?
Been to it. I've never been to a show, but not that I know of. Maybe I went to one when
now that I have a 2-year-old daughter, I don't really think I'm going to catch many.
I want to see the Harry Potter one, the Cursed Child.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of stuck right now. Now that I have kids, I'm kind of stuck in the Disney on Ice show. Like it. Oh yeah, all those adult shows are just. I don't think a 2-year-old is going to want to sit through Hamilton.
No, that's fair. I want to see the Cursed Child because that's the only way to see it, and I don't even think you can see it in the United States, right? Like I'm pretty sure that was only in the UK. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but some of them are like ridiculously hard to go and see.
Yeah, I'm not going to do all that work to go see something. Yeah. Obviously, if I'm over there, then yes, like make it a trip.
And I'm not going to act like some fraud here. I'm not like I know all the Broadway. No, but I think I always found it interesting, and I have a lot of respect for the people that do it. I know some people that do it. It's a lot of work, man. So, yeah.
I don't honestly, I don't even know how to take this super, because Brian Bashman, thank you for the 5. He's obviously bringing up numbers that are set in stone so far. It's early. Thank you for the 5. So speaking of, is it too early to worry? We're on the road and Cody Bellinger isn't hitting again. Do we just leave him at Yankee Stadium? So Jake, his numbers at Yankee Stadium, I don't know if you've looked at them. I haven't looked at them in a bit. We know what it tells us. Yes. He rakes at Yankee Stadium. We know that. He doesn't hit on the road. right? And it's not that it's not like he's hitting 140, but he's not the same player. What do you take away from this, right? Because most people who don't watch the Yankees, if you don't watch the Yankees, you would assume that Bellinger, he must be hitting weak fly balls with low exit velocity and short porching all day long. And those are where his hits are coming from. But the matter of fact, kind of to Brian's point, he's a scrappy hitter at Yankee Stadium and just finds ways to get to first base with some of the ugliest knocks you've ever seen. It's not like it's Larry Walker. He's hitting lofty fly balls to right field, and then he goes on the road, right? It's not that. This is Cody Bellinger. It just like a switch goes off when he comes back to the Bronx. Are you, shouldn't say worried. Does it have your attention at all when you see those numbers?
Definitely has my attention. I actually didn't really pick up on this. I've seen it before, but I think this is really noticeable. So in 2025, his first year with the Yankees,
yes,
he had a 909 OPS, 302 batting average at home, and a 241 road batting average and 715 OPS. I mean, that's significant, right?
Significant. Yep.
Then 2026, and it's not what you want. Same amount of games played at home, 377, 1200 OPS. On the road, 203, 528 OPS.
So he goes from a Hall of Famer, right? A 1200 ops, guys, just for reference. That is MVP Aaron Judge, like MVP Mike Trout-esque talent. 1200, 1100 is like prime Mike Trout. And then he goes to Anthony Volpe on the road. Now, again, guys, I don't know what to take of this because I'm not Cody Bellinger. I couldn't tell you the difference of what he's feeling, how it is. And it's not just the dimensions because, again, Cody Bellinger isn't a home run hitter. He's really just this scrappy guy who will slap the ball the other way. But these numbers are noticeable. And I'm curious what the reasoning is behind this because the last time I saw numbers like this, and I don't mean to imply that he's cheating because I think he's clearly not. The last time we saw numbers like this, Jake, was back in like remember when the cheating scandal happened in Houston where there were dudes hitting like 380 in Houston and then there were like 200 hitters on the road? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Now, mind you, that's not what's happening here.
Wasn't there
but that's how egregious this gap is. It's nuts.
Jaren Jackson, how like his rebounds were way higher at home because and he didn't even get the rebound. Like they would just give him the rebound.
Oh, yeah. He literally tipped the ball and they're like, oh, yep. Offensive board. I'm like, no, his team didn't even get the ball. They're going on fast break the other way. It's kind of like, remember that Michael Jordan season? I don't know if you saw that, but they actually did the research and they said he averaged like over 5 steals a game. They watched the footage and they were inflating it by 3 steals a game at home.
I once saw a video where Michael Jordan complained right after like a call. He's like, how did you not see that? And the guy's like, I'll believe you, Michael. I trust you, Michael. And then they changed the call in Jordan's favor.
Oh my God. First of all, if that happened today.
If that happened for LeBron, do you know how many people would just riot?
Oh, they'd burn down. I don't know what they call the arena now. What is it? Is it called Crypto? It used to be Staples Center, right?
It's Staples Center, yeah.
It was a staple.
Yeah.
At Staples Center.
Well, no,
it'll always
it
be
was
Staples
Center. Now it's the Crypto.com arena, which is funny because I don't even know if that's still around.
What? Oh, what? Crypto?
Yeah, Crypto. Well, you know what I mean. Crypto.com. Because there was a whole big thing. Wasn't like Sam Bankman-Fried involved with that? The guy that you brought up.
I don't know if it was Crypto.com. I don't know. Are you talking about the kind of what happened with Tom Brady, where he just put in a bunch of money and they just took off with it?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds about right. I know, like, I don't know. Matt Damon, I think, was a part of it. Not saying he was doing it, but I think
of course. But you're an investor,
scammed,
which technically isn't really your fault. People just get excited and they're
Brian
like,
Bashman,
"Oh, it's gonna work."
Correctly pointing out that crypto is also Superman's dog. So
I appreciate it. This is a nerds podcast at heart. So Brian, thank you.
Yes.
Says,
by the way,
speaking
of nerds, Derek Baseball confirms that Cursed Child is on Broadway, Jake, with Felton, and he's talking about the actual actor that plays Draco Malfoy in the movies. As Draco Malfoy until November. So I might have to go see that at some point.
Maybe. my wife and I are trying to figure out what we're going to do after the event or before it, right? We're going to be there all week. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. I mean, we don't exactly want to say everything we're doing because then just some schmohawk can just show up to us.
That's true.
In the middle of New York.
Maybe we should try and do that. I don't know if we could, but if we could swing that, that'd be cool.
I'd be like, hey guys, I know you want it to be completely quiet in here and like be able to do your job. What do you think about me bringing my 2.5-year-old in here to just make a whole ruckus and just ruin the whole show? What do you think about that? Because I'm sure the people, when I'm on the flight over to New York, I'm sure they're going to be thrilled that they're sitting down next to me in the back of an airplane for 4.5 hours. They're going to love that. So obviously I feel sorry in advance, but I mean, what else is there to do other than, I guess, make more money and fly private like T Swift across the country?
Yeah.
But
FTX is what
FTX.
Emmanuel.
FTX, is. Yeah. That rings a bell.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I knew
the
FTX.
Umpires have FTX like patches on their jerseys?
See, that I don't know.
I think that actually was a thing. I remember FTX was sponsoring everything, and then boom, it's just.
That is true. I think that guy's still sitting in prison. But Yankee Fangirl for Life with the 5 says, when I was a kid and Bucky Dent was a shortstop, he wasn't a big hitter, but his fielding made up for it. I don't see that level of play from Jazz. Now the analytics, and I feel like the eye test as well.
The eye test shows he's a great defender. He is.
He great plays today, and he didn't make some routine plays. Overall, Jazz is a good fielder, but when he doesn't hit, it makes you want. He's the type of guy you want to pick on when he doesn't hit. That's just the style that he plays. It'd be the same way if Deion Sanders showed up to the yard as a football player and was backpedaling and was wearing chains, and then he gives up an 80-yard bomb down the field. What are you going to say? This kid sucks. Get him off the field. You know why? Because when you invite that type of confidence and you're sitting there, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. And Deion was every bit of that. In baseball, he was like that in the NFL. If you don't deliver, that's not a personal thing. People are, you're putting a target on your own back. Don't be upset when people have something to say to you. And I feel like Jazz just kind of, not that he's Deion Sanders' personality, he's definitely not that. He's kind of hidden at the bottom of our lineup, but he does have that look at me type personality when things are going good. And then when it goes bad, everyone's like, yeah, I'll actually look at you. I'm looking at you, and this isn't what you told me it was going to be. It's not 50-50. It looks more like 24-35 hitting 207. That's what it looks like. So, yeah, Yankee Fangirl for Life. Really appreciate it. What's up, Jake? It seems like a light bulb has just gone off.
Yeah, no, I wanted to throw this at you. Marco Luciano, who I've talked about a few times, not a great defender, right?
Nope.
But if he continues to hit the way he's hitting, not only will he be in the big leagues, I think he could be like a really impactful hitter. Was once a top 10 prospect in all of baseball.
And he's at AAA now, correct?
He is.
Okay.
Here's the interesting thing. Luciano came up in the same class, like recruiting class, as Anthony Volpe. So when Volpe was the 6th prospect, Luciano was 13th in baseball. So
we're now talking back in 2023.
Yes.
Okay.
He didn't pan out, and they let him go, and the Giants did. Since he was cut, the Yankees picked him up, I believe, in February off of waivers. He's been absolutely insane. He's been the best hitter in the system. Right now, currently, he's hitting, let's see here. He is hitting 327 with an 1100 OPS. He's got 10 home runs in 28 games. He's got 23 ribbies, 13 walks, and he's just been really good. 410 on base percentage, 713 slugging. He's not the best defender, but
are you talking about him or are you talking about Agustin Ramirez? Because I feel like we're having the exact same conversation. Agustin Ramirez, if you remember, he was setting it off offensively, and he wasn't a top prospect. And you even said, I see him still being traded and the Yankees selling high on him. And lo and behold, they did exactly that. Exactly what you said.
Here's the thing, though, Gary.
This is interesting.
It's interesting because I honestly think Luciano, and he's not the defender Volpe is, to be fair.
Right.
that I know of. Maybe he is. I don't get to watch him all the time defense-wise. But based on what I've read, is he's not the best defender. Does that bother you enough to keep him away from, say, replacing a Jazz Chisholm at second base? Because here's the thing. I'm starting to feel, and I texted you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Luciano is going to be 25 September 10th. He's 24 right now. So is Anthony Volpe.
Right.
Anthony Volpe was the big top prospect, and it looks like it's not going to work out. Maybe it does. I don't think it's going to. He's still having issues hitting off speed in the minors. He's not hitting well in the minors, and the arm strength, it's not great. And then you have George Lombard Jr. that we talked about that. He's already there. So the comparison there is brutal. My thing here is Marco Luciano is now in AAA. So now you're talking about a player who came from that class. If he steps up, I think it makes it really easy to move off of Volpe and be like, you know what? We made a mistake, but we almost got it back in Luciano, who is around the same tier. Is that crazy to assume that?
It's
One,
not insane.
And two, are you okay if he ends up being like let's just say a little bit below average fielder, but you're getting really good production with the bat?
I'll answer part 2 first. Yes, if I'm getting great offense, then having subpar defense I can accept, right? But keep in mind, that's what we had in Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres was not a good second baseman. He just wasn't. He didn't play smart. He wasn't paying attention. Really didn't work that hard. And we're not talking about off the field working hard. We're talking about bringing a everyday energy to the field where you look the same on Tuesday as you do on Friday night when we play the Dodgers. He was a different player. Now, having said that, I don't see the Yankees really. I think that would be considered more of a mix-up for the Yankees infield. I think the more likely scenario is that Caballero's here to stay for the Yankees, and they're most likely, he's playing a good shortstop. I don't think the analytics are telling the full story. He's not that good at shortstop. He's good, but he's not the best defensive shortstop in the game, the way the analytics are saying. Now, having said that, if Jazz Chisholm's gone, I think the Yankees love the type of at-bats that Caballero's taking for their long-term vision of where the team should go, right? Ben Rice is more so the mold of what they're looking for. Put the ball and play hard. We get we get the launch angle correct, and we'll actually, and no longer are we talking about launch angle with low contact. This is a better baseball player. I think the Yankees' long-term plan is to move, right, Caballero over to second base. And if you have George Lombard Jr., who's a proven guy who's going to stay at shortstop, the question is what he's going to do offensively. We talked about the lack of power last year. We both predicted it would show up. I mean, we're not geniuses. Most people thought the power was going to show up with that young of a baseball player. The power's here. Now that the bat has seemingly caught up, if it continues into the major leagues, the defense is already a staple. He's your shortstop. And so now you talk about your shortstop and your second baseman, cheap, controllable, contact-first guys who can both field it at the very least. I think that's the Yankees' option. So I feel like what you're mentioning right now with a player who's really setting it off, this seems to me like it's not a player that I'm selling on. It's not really that. I just think that Brian Cashman has a system in place where he sort of has his guys and has plans for how he's going to use them. And if guys are key performers that he doesn't have a plan for, he uses them as trade bait. And that's not a knock. Trading can also acquire talent that you're looking for. So I think that the players that you're mentioning right now and what they're doing in the system, I think all it's doing is making it easier for Brian Cashman to acquire some of the relievers that are going to be necessary when we go find a new setup man, which is, it needs to happen. Go get me a replacement for Doval. Some of these performances in the minor league level are part of the reason he'll be able to do that.
I'm going to say this because I don't think this has even been talked about. I think there's a chance Jazz Chisholm is traded at the deadline if he doesn't step up.
I don't even know if he would spiritually recover from the event. I don't know if I'm not wishing on anyone to be traded. It's not a good thing.
I'm not wishing for clearly. This.
But if it happens,
Jazz
Jake,
turns it around.
Oh boy, not good.
But think about this, right? So I did some digging. Luciano apparently was a shortstop like Volpe. the Giants said, you can't play there, moving you to the outfield. And then it was like, eh. And then the bat wasn't doing anything.
Right.
He joins the Yankees, new change of scenery. By the way, perfectly, in my opinion, just showcasing how freaking awesome the Yankees minor league development system is. They are so good at what they do now as opposed to in the past. Luciano is raking, as I said, and he's embraced the challenge of returning the infield. The Yankees like him as a second baseman, and apparently it looks like he can handle the position. Now, I would probably venture to guess he's going to be an average second baseman, so not even a below average.
Okay.
If he continues to rake, I just don't see a way that he's not in their long-term plans. Because you have to understand this. He's a former top prospect, like Volpe. Volpe has not worked out. He all of a sudden is hitting better than Volpe has ever hit in the minors. He might actually just be a guy that you found that is still that of a top prospect, but you found him where nobody else wanted him. These guys come and they go, but I'll tell you, when they show up, they're like guys like Josh Hamilton. You know what I mean? Like, they make impacts. And I really do think at this, 24 years of age, not only will we see potentially Luciano next year, I think we could see him this year. And if Jazz Chisholm doesn't step up, I think the Yankees would be okay taking a dive defensively a little bit to add Luciano to the mix. Because, I mean, if he continues to hit the way he's hitting, like Double-A, he was absolutely destroying Double-A.
Right.
If he continues to hit the way he was in Double-A and Triple-A, there's no reason not to call him up.
I feel like you're making a case for why the Yankees should consider it, but I'm more so making a prediction of why I think it won't happen, because I'm trying to make predictions based on what I think the Yankees do, right? Typically. I don't see the Yankees doing this because it's the Yankees. And I don't mean that it's like, oh, they're making a bad decision.
But this is
Jazz
the new
Chisholm
Yankees calling up ERC.
No,
That's
I get
why
that.
I'm bringing it up.
No, I completely understand that. That is completely true. They are different so far. But Jazz Chisholm has a ceiling that Luciano does not have. Jazz Chisholm, that's why we're also pissed off with Jazz, is because the ceiling is here and he's here. Why? Well, everybody has their theories of why it is, but it feels like if this guy's performing over here, it seems like I'm going to be getting the same performance, if not better. And yeah, I'm forfeiting a ceiling, but who cares about someone's ceiling if they don't ever get to it? What does it matter how much potential somebody has? You don't date potential. You date who people are. That's the same situation here with Jazz Chisholm. We don't care how talented you are if you can't put it together. That's how good of a baseball player you are. How well you do that. How well you put it together. And so, yeah, free Roderick.
Tell me you know who this is.
Roderick? Are you talking about Arias?
Roderick Arias.
Where is Roderick Arias right now?
He is currently in high A.
How old is he? Is he 46?
He's 21.
Roderick Arias?
You look like you just malfunctioned.
I feel like I've been hearing this name since like 2014. I know.
So I think he's been playing since he was 17 in the system. But that said, he's in high A and he's hitting 224 with a 631 OPS. Like,
oh, don't worry, David. We may free him. Don't you worry.
Like, he's just kind of there.
The dude's in a maximum security prison right now.
I'm being nice. I mean, for his career in almost 1,200 minor league at bats, 223 hitter with a 711 OPS. He steals a lot of bases, though. 108 bases stolen, but I don't know.
It's going to take a lot more than that to get to the big leagues.
I forget who brought up Tyler Hardman. I don't know if it was Brian Bat. I saw it in our comment section. Did you see Tyler Hardman's numbers?
I did not.
So Hardman is a former draft pick by the Yankees. He was a 5th round draft pick in 2021. He's 27 now. He's in Somerset, Double A. He's hitting 318 with 1,000 OPS. So
there you have it. By the way, Jake, this
first base,
chat,
third base.
Okay. So the Yankees, if none of these guys come up to the big leagues, there's ammo to get anything done. There was a point that was made in our live chat. I thought it was actually, even though I disagreed with that, I thought it was valuable for sure. People said, well, there's only a few relievers at the Yankees that you really can pinpoint. You're like, oh, I want that guy on the team, right? And Mason Miller's not coming. We know that. However, with the reliever market, it's such a fickle industry. You really don't know who's good on a year-to-year basis. Like, guys, the Mariano Rivera's don't come around every year. Like, you're going to look at a guy and be like, oh, he's at the All-Star game. Like, remember Joe Mantiply pitching for Arizona? He made an All-Star team.
Oh, my God.
And you're like, oh, this dude's good. He's next. This dude. And now, mind you, he wasn't a high-velocity guy, so we kind of knew, like, all right, this might be a flash in the pan. I swear to you guys, 2 years later, Joe Mantiply was like pitching garbage time in the 6th, getting lit up at Chase Field for Arizona. I promise you, the reliever market, you have to let it develop. And the one thing about having prospects that are performing well below you is that you can just let them perform and develop. And if you want to use them, you have that choice. But you also give other organizations the opportunity to fall out of races and prove to you which guys in the bullpen that they had that you can trust. Oh, we don't trust Doval? Well, that losing team over there, Baltimore, they might have that one piece that we can utilize. And then all of a sudden they're part of a better baseball team. So yeah, I agree. You can't just trade for a reliever right now and get something that's reliable. That is true. But towards August, it's even later deadline this year, we're going to know who's the actual big fish to go get. It might not be Duran, but it might be somebody else out there that's available that we didn't expect. Jake, I can already see you smirking. What's up?
Because I just went down memory lane. Do you remember the pitcher Faustino de los Santos?
Faustino? No.
He was on Oakland back in like 2011, 2012.
No.
His K rate was insane. But like the point I'm about to make here, and to your point, is that like he's one of those guys that easily could have been like a closer.
Right.
And had really good stuff, threw really hard. You probably don't know him because he only pitched 40 games. He threw
his whole career?
His whole career.
Oh my God.
He got popped in the biogenesis thing.
The dude, it's your favorite thing. The dude comes up, puts his hat on, turns around and takes it off.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Yeah, the Simpsons meme. Yeah, dude,
he was here for 40 games. They're like, oh, he's a roid monkey. Later. I
remember like it was yesterday. Ken Singleton saying Faustino de los Santos. However, I can't do his voice, but I loved Ken Singleton, by the way, in the booth. But yeah, he would always announce the Yankees games against the Oakland A's at the time. So I remember that, but like the point being is that this is somebody that had the tools to potentially be a closer. These guys, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, these guys are a dime a dozen. We see it all the time. Tyler Clippert.
Fernando Cruz wasn't worth 2 poots in Cincinnati. They didn't care at all about him. Up and coming team. They're like, we can't pitch a lick, but we've got some young position players. We can't wait to show you this roster. We're like, bring it. They just get rid of Cruz. And they were like, oh yeah, Matt Blake loves a splitter and he's going to tell him to use it more. They do it in New York. It kind of works out. And he's like really rekindled his career in his mid-30s. That's the relief market in a nutshell. The Yankees just kind of like take a flyer on a guy. They like his spin rate and it works for like 2 years and then you never see him again. So we're going to see what this market look like. Right. Him Till, by the way, with the 5 says we knew how many outs there were. I don't think they did. But Tim here is saying I threw it to third base because I wanted the winning run to stay at second base instead of, obviously it would be better to keep a guy at second as opposed to third. Should have taken the easy out. Hey, so Jake, what's Tim Hill? Just back off the play for just a second. what's Tim Hill's biggest strength? It's producing what type of contact again?
Soft
contact. So if a runner's at second base, what type of contact do we need going into the outfield to actually be able to have a play at home plate? If there's a runner at second base on a knock, do you know what type of contact we need?
Hard contact.
Hard contact. So if you're a fielder, if you're an actual pitcher in Major League Baseball and you give up weak contact, there should never be, for you personally as a baseball player, a priority to take an unnecessary risk at the end of a game and go to third base in a situation like that. Doesn't make sense. It simply didn't. So I don't believe he knew the outs, but even if you did, doesn't make sense for the personnel. So
it's just a bad play. There's really, and I'm sure he knows that. I mean, we know he knows that because Till is, telling us he does. But
and also, if it really was Tim Hill, I'd be pretty concerned that he's up at 3:30 in the morning Eastern and he's not getting ready for tomorrow's game, which is in the morning. So
yeah, it's at it's at 2:05 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm literally gonna have breakfast
like that.
It's ridiculous. But Jake, I'm sure we finally caught up on our super chats. Guys, you were awesome tonight. Jake, I'm sure you were really expecting that we were going to run a 2-hour and 11-minute podcast, and we haven't even signed off yet. I know you were beat.
Oh, I was beat to shit. But you know what's so funny?
What's that?
I told you, man. I like get all wired. I was so tired when we started this thing.
Yeah.
And I get all wired with this show, and now I probably won't be able to sleep, which makes no sense. I literally walked over 100,000 steps on this vacation, didn't sleep. Newsflash, right after we went offline yesterday, I was up, packing, all that, didn't sleep, had broken sleep throughout the day, took naps, what have you, but yeah, it's just, I don't even know. Anyway,
doing a podcast will do that to you. Till shows up and says, good point about the hard contact, Gary. I mean, the good part about this point that I've just made is that it can't be disproven. So technically I could just be talking out my ass and it could sound like a good point, but we'll never know if it actually matters. But I guess the point is you don't take unnecessary risks. Tim Hill was Tim Valley tonight.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
No, he's Tim Mountain.
He's Tim Mountain.
I used to get on him, and I think he's made significant strides and deserves to be a part of this bullpen.
Oh, he's been awesome.
He's one of the most important pitchers on this team. So, yeah,
I think can't believe he's 6'4".
I know.
But Jake, what do we want them to put? I'll let you pick. What do you want them to put in the comment section?
Before we get to that, we do, of course, have to check in with Prize Picks. So.
Oh yeah, they do pay us. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so let's
December loads.
I know. Let's go to tomorrow's game. Unfortunately, for those of you who are tired of watching Yankees and Brewers, well, I have some only bad news for you. Yankees are playing the Brewers tomorrow. So.
In the morning. So if you want to sleep through it, this is the best time to do so. Or you can just go to church for the first time this year and just miss the whole game if you really wanted to.
So, I mean, I don't know who would ever dare do this against a righty, but...
Wait, where's your mouse? Is that Austin Wells?
This is Austin Wells.
Yeah, there's a goblin, all right. I know it's not a goblin. What do they call it?
No, this is a devil.
That's a devil. Yeah, it's a devil, all right. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this the right way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow... we got Rodon coming back. I'm going to stay away from anything Rodon because he could be amazing or he could be atrocious. I really think it's one or the other.
I don't like this. I don't like this outing.
But Logan Henderson is a right-handed pitcher. So, I mean, actually, Austin Wells against Logan Henderson could make sense. Like, I don't even know.
Brother, Austin Wells should be buried on the bench.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
He
should literally be 6 feet under in the dugout. He should not even be close to the baseball field.
I'm going to go with McMahon because he's hitting well.
Yep, I agree with that.
Oh, well, there's a pattern here. I don't know.
Do.
It's just like, no. It's I hit, I don't. I hit, I don't. I hit. So tomorrow is technically based on this pattern. He would not hit.
And we're not allowed to take, because we're allowed to take more. We're not allowed to take, wait a minute, Jake, we can take less.
I'm not touching less.
Yeah, because then we're rooting against our players. We're not fading players.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree.
I don't know. Do you guys think he breaks the pattern? I do.
All right. I'll let Jake lose our money this time.
Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just kidding. Spencer Jones against a righty. It is written.
Technically, Spencer Jones will have made you money by the end of the year because you're just forcing it.
Yeah.
Jake's gonna make picks on him until he's sent down, no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Jazz Chisholm, because we talked about him negatively. This is what happens after, oh, you guys said Jazz Chisholm sucks. And then he just has 5 of these. No, I'm kidding.
So then you can say, no, we actually picked him. So you're wrong.
That's true. Caballero. Oh. It felt better before I looked.
Okay. And we're not picking any of their players. That's a given.
Well, we might
Grisham
pick one to strike out. Specifically Garrett Mitchell, who struck out twice, and we picked him to strike out. So
David says Jazz will win a challenge tomorrow. No, he won't.
Jazz is not allowed to challenge tomorrow. I do not want to see Jazz Chisholm challenging tomorrow. That's not what I want. I will say Ben Rice is just absolutely going to go off tomorrow.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is hitting a home run tomorrow, so I'll go ahead and put it. I know it's not the sexiest thing to say because he hits a bunch of homers, but you heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, let's just do the 1.5. And then
I'm really
Judge.
worried Rodon's outing. I don't like this.
Yeah, Judge, I'm going to do 1.5 as well. And then this is hilarious because it's showing us October 7th. Like, oh, well, the last time it's like, the last time was the postseason. You know, like what good is this gonna do?
And what are they technically asking us? I couldn't read it. So it's over 4.5 Ks. I'd be shocked. Not saying he can't do it, but when a guy's not gonna have a high pitch count, I just don't love picking more on a guy who's working with a count. That's just
I really like this. I think I've hit on this every time. We're going back to the Garrett Mitchell well.
Oh, the Ks? Yeah, let's slam it.
Keep striking out, my guy. You're doing great. Okay. 50 to win, 10 to win 50. We're gonna go flex play here, and you can get in on the action. Play Prize Picks. The link is in the description below. $5 gets you $50 instantly in lineups, and using the code HMA is definitely going to help you with that. Also, Prize Picks is available in 40 states, and I'm not going to say the rest. That's the
New Jersey's not one of them. So if you're trying to lose your mortgage, I guess you can just tail our picks for the rest of the year, because we are off to a ice cold Jazz Chisholm start.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it's
not what you want.
But
we really, it would be funny for us to put some type of graphic of what we've won and what we've lost.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God. We're just losing $10 a day.
This thing's insane. Okay, there we go.
It's saved. Okay, beautiful.
I was waiting for it. Didn't save a few times ago, but this is what we did yesterday.
Come on.
Yeah, Spencer Jones didn't help us, and then Aaron. To be fair here, we were right on the money with Goldschmidt.
Did you
Garrett
say
Mitchell
he was going to homer? Is that what you said?
I said he'd probably have another triple, or I think I said that. I don't know.
Okay, because somebody asked me, they're like, did Jake predict it? And then I just lied for you and said that you did say it.
No, I don't think I predicted. I don't really predict homers. Well, okay, yeah, I do. I just don't pick them anymore. I think that's the difference.
That's a fair play. You should never pick homers, which obviously,
yeah,
a lot of the
Garrett
people who are
Mitchell
really good at this
is striking out every single day the rest of the year. I have nothing against the guy personally. I just know he's filling in for Brandon Lockridge, and the production in left field all of a sudden went down. Spencer Jones, this one, I mean, honestly, it was a tough matchup anyway going against a lefty. This is kind of, we were just going for it. Ahmed Rosario, no shock. All this guy does is contribute when he gives any sort of opportunity. And then Aaron Judge was just kind of a shock to me. Against a lefty, I would have expected a little bit more. So
you'd hope so, right?
Anyway, that is that. And there you go. Read it.
That is Prize Picks.
So
Picks. If you want to tail that and do it at your own discretion, we're not telling you to do a damn thing. But obviously sign up with code HMA if you do so. Jake, what do you want them to put in the comment section? Because that was quite the loss. It was definitely a downer, but it don't put a fork in us. We still have a great record, still have a lot to prove, I believe, and have plenty of time. So, yeah, what are you thinking after the surprise 2 hour and 20-minute show? We basically did the movie Lincoln, even though you thought it'd be 30 minutes.
What did we talk about? Talked about a lot. I think at one point we talked about salad dressing. Put in balsamic vinaigrette.
Drop balsamic in the comment section. Everyone's probably going to read our comment section, but what the hell is wrong with this comment section? Drop balsamic in the comments, not in the live chat. In the comments after we're gone and you reload in where it stays permanent. And guys, be sure to hype the video. I know it's an early morning game tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. So wherever you are, prepare accordingly. Drop balsamic. And of course, guys, yeah, balsamic. Yeah, just like that. Like the video.
We do not care.